What's up, everybody, and welcome to this fine-ass Tuesday evening. We've got some great Counter-Strike action in store for you once again. It's WRG versus our Esports in the lower bracket. Means loser, their run comes to an end here in Season 2. Winner progresses into the next stage, where they'll have to face the loser of DNMK versus Goliath. So, Nick, this is just a treacherous road for both of these teams. Which one do you think is going to be making the distance to the next round? Straight up off the bat, yeah.
In all honesty, I have to say WRG, right? I mean, both these teams, they actually faced up last night, which is super interesting. Best of 3. The question coming in today, same maps, different maps, what's going to happen? But last night they faced each other. Zion won it out 2-1. However, arguably WRG's best player was not in the server. And obviously, if Destroyed's out of the team and Niix in the team tonight, that's going to be a massive impact. Yeah,
well, you jumped straight into the juice there. That's exactly it. As you said, they played each other last night, and Destroyed is playing tonight, I can confirm. So at least that's a good thing, right? Because we want to be seeing these teams with their full strength rosters, especially considering that, like I said, there's so much on the line for tonight's game. Their lives are on the line here in the tournament. They've been making a run over the past couple of weeks. Both teams have been dropped down to the low bracket. WRG, they fell at the hands of Sinister 5, and Zion, they lost out to ATK, which, I mean, no mean feat, right? After that, Zion had to beat Meme GG to reach this point, and WRG bested XD Clubhouse 69. So I'd say that in their lower bracket games, they were both the favorites. Coming into this, I think, as you said, rightfully so, WRG are certainly going to be feeling like the favorites. And Ivan spoke a little bit to Destroyed. I won't tell you exactly what he said, but let's just say he's feeling pretty bullish about tonight. So I think they've got a little bit of revenge in mind here to WRG.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm looking at the scoreboards of last night, and Blue was the sub for WRG, so obviously it's like throwing someone into the deep end when they can't swim. He didn't go positive on any of the matches that they played, some of which went 25 plus rounds. And I mean, if you think about Destroyed, you're not going to put Destroyed and negative in the same sentence, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Destroyed is going to be coming with firepower, and if Zion want to repeat the victory that they had last night, they're going to have one mean feat on their hands. And I mean, we're seeing some different maps. There's been a map changed out. We're seeing Inferno instead of Vertigo come out. So, I mean, already there's a bit of a different game plan coming into this one. But I really think Zion are coming in as underdogs. But, I mean, you never know what could happen.
That's the one unfortunate thing, right? Is that Zion beat WRG last night, and it was the sub that was playing for WRG. So anytime anybody ever brings that result or talks about that game, it was always going to be like, oh, yeah. You know, you always see it in the tweet. Like, the players love to, like, subtly add it in there. Like, oh, thanks for standing in. Just so that everybody knows that they were playing with the sub, right? So there's always that extra, like, little anecdotes and asterisks. It's like, yeah, we beat them, but they were playing with the sub. Or they beat us, but we had a sub. So, I mean, we had a full strength roster. Now tonight, Zion, they've got a proper chance now. If they beat this WRG, the roster at full strength, then there's no legs left to stand on, so to say. So Zion, they're gonna have to come out swinging, fighting on all guns. I mean, we've seen that this team has some serious firepower and potential when everybody's on. In particular, Vaynant is the player who excites me the most in this team. Young 16-year-old who still has the length of his career ahead of him, but has already shown a lot of promise, Nick.
I mean, without a doubt, I think when you're looking at that Zion team, I think the two names that jump out are probably Mulkey. He's used his experience. He's played at a higher level than the rest of his teammates or his comrades. And I think Vaynant is probably the player who you're looking at to. If any one of those players on the team are going to drop 30, you'll put him at the top of the list, right? I mean, Bam has still got a pretty good firepower behind him. He popped off last night. I don't know if you saw that Deagle clip when Slowy's busy saying, I don't know why Bam's not buying armor, and he had a Deagle, no armor, and the rest of his teammates forced, and then he just gets 3 with the Deagle, and Aaron just goes, okay, I'll shut up now.
I'm so glad that Aaron actually tasted that as well, by the way, just so he sees, like, sometimes, you know, the game does go against you and make you look like a bit of a fool, even when you kind of know what you're talking about. So he felt that, that's good. But yeah, Bam, I do believe, had a crazy game last night, in particular on Nuke, I saw Miston was saying. So he kind of strikes me as, like, the young gun in this team, the guy who's probably got his best years ahead of him because he's still so early on in his career, but he can have a very high impact on the server on his day. So he's not the guy that you want to be putting pressure onto, though, to be performing as well.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, he is going to be picking up the big green throughout for Zion. I mean, when we're thinking about Nuke, the CT side all probably has a lot more impact than the T side has, but then it's Dust2 and a possible Inferno as the sider. So, I mean, if we're seeing 3 maps, whoever's picking up the AWP, whoever's going to pick up that responsibility, they have to justify it, right? They have to justify that $4,750 weapon being dropped over. And I mean, that has to be on Bam's shoulders. I mean, on the opposite camp, it's Falls. And I mean, he's a player who can drop 30 in a server just as much. I mean, we always speak about the firepower that WRG have. Awesome, Destroyed, Falls are players that come to mind. And then you have PND and Zox. I mean, there's no real bad player at all amongst that 5. So Zion have got one hell of a hill to climb tonight, and it will be extremely interesting to see if they can.
Yeah, I mean, it is a tough ask, right? And when you come into these lower bracket games with your life on the line, and you go up against a team where you're the underdog, you kind of have to throw caution to the wind and actually just back yourselves and be realistic about the Knights' prospects and just give it everything you've got. I mean, what do you have to lose at that point? It kind of takes the pressure and the stress off your shoulders in a regard when you sort of, you don't invest too much in it because you recognize the realistic realm of the situation. It's not like you're like, oh, guys, we're going to go bang WRG again, because when you set those unrealistic expectations, that's what really sets you up for some super disappointments and letdowns and downfalls. So I think that Zion should just go into the server stress-free tonight. Lower bracket game. It's actually WG who have the pressure on their shoulders because they're the favorites in this game. If they get eliminated at the hands of Zion in like the third round of the lower bracket, that's going to be some serious news. Zion have nothing to lose tonight, so they should come out all guns blazing.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, everyone loves the underdog story. And I mean, as you said now, all the pressure's on WRG. If you're Zion, no one care. In all honesty, like not many people care if you lose. Like you literally have nothing. WRG are coming in as favorites, and I mean, if WRG lose again tonight, then it's sort of I wouldn't say it's panic stations, but it's gonna be a red flag to say the least.
Yeah.
And to think about these star-studded 5-man players, I mean, Destroyed used to be on Energy. Awesome had this insane sub run on Sin 5. He played insane at Online Kingdom. Falls at Online Kingdom. Zox has been a bit of an X Factor wildcard. PND obviously playing at Australia. Like, if you go put the player to play in the server, of course WRG is favorites, and now Zion need to embrace the fact that they're underdogs, and they need to do whatever's best and play with no pressure.
Yeah, well, the Zion underdog team do find themselves on the CT side here of Niix, which is, of course, inadvertently WRG's pick, who have got some util here on the T side, blowing up in the squeaky door, dropping a smoke, but that's actually a bit of a ruse. The majority of the team are making their way outside, looking to try and cross into secret, and, Veynan catches the tail of Awesome there. That was unfortunate. Energy, or rather WRG, nearly found all 4 players safely into secret, and actually, considering a change up here, they're not exactly sure what they want to be committing to. I think because they lost PND and Squeaky, they're now going to try and make their way towards this B bomb site, but there's a stern defense already making their way across, and Lord takes down the first kill, so this is becoming ever more increasingly difficult for WRG. Finally, Falls finds a kill, but his death is looming, and he does get taken down.
I mean, one thing I have to mention that I realized in WRG's T-side nuke last night when I was watching the game is when they're going downstairs, like when they're throwing the outside smokes, they're not being quiet about it. When they're going downstairs, they're giving up sound cues. They're giving up numbers to the CTs. And in last night's game, you saw when WRG were hitting downstairs, there was 4 players. There were sometimes 3 players, 4 players downstairs already to greet them. So I think WRG, what they got to do, cut the sound cues when you're downstairs, walk peek the angles, double peek them together, and not give up free information. So that when you rotate to the lower sides of CTs, you'll have a real rough problem. They're not going to take out Destroyed, and the hard hits of Destroyed is just not getting a foothold in this game so far.
Yeah, early days yet, and of course we always recognize that the T side of Nuke is it's where it's going to be a bit more challenging to find some rounds in comparison to T sides of other maps. But WRG did pick the map, so I mean, you always have an idea that the team have got something in the pocket, and we know that this WRG team has been strong on Nuke in the past, and Falls with that Scout has already hit a couple of shots here, actually tagged down Veynan earlier and then finished him off. So it's giving a bit of room to WRG to work with, but bam, that's a big kill from him because that's really going to stunt the growth here, or the opportunities for WRG. Sort of everybody waiting for somebody else to make a move right now. Fall still has that Scout, and Awesome, he's working his way around lobby. I don't think he realizes that he's being circumvented here. Lord just waits.
He's going to look the wrong way. Zox has got this kill.
Shot, Zox. Yeah. That's actually a big pick. There's still 38 seconds left here, and look at how this has spread the defense so thin right now. You can see that Malkis is the only player that's sort of keeping tabs of this B ramp area. If he gets taken down here, that's free reign into the B bomb site. They're going to look to overwhelm him. He's actually got quite a nice off angle here because they don't realize he's in that position until they've completely committed. Malkis able to find 2, and he's already done his job and then some. Might go down here to Falls, but that's pretty much irrelevant at this point. I don't even know if Falls is going to have a crack at this. Might even consider just saving the Scout.
Yeah, I think you can't really do much more. If you're Bam, kill him after time. Kill him.
Yeah, I agree. Kill him after the time. That would have been.
That would have been so
like
big.
People often overlook that, actually, Nick. I don't know.
Oh, without a doubt.
You.
Like there's so many opportunities where instead of someone just wants to get a kill with the SMG, $600, whatnot. But the fact is, like, Bam, in that situation, he knows Falls isn't going to clear him. Falls doesn't have time to plant the bomb, so just hide. And then you know exactly where Falls is, kill him off the time. They have nothing. They have to probably invest into this round. And then that's 3 free
4-0.
completely. Yeah, exactly. That's 4 complete
Eventually.
rounds. They're going to rush outside, double Kobe. Love that. Falls is downstairs. He can get a bomb plant.
I mean, I'm not even sure if he's going to be able to get. I think Malky shuts him down here, comes around the corner just in time. This is a strong starter from Zion. I mean, everybody's had a bit of an impact. Everybody's going to be feeling it. I mean, you know, Nick, when you're starting off in a lower bracket game, nothing feels better than just starting for that 3-0. Yeah, it's early doors and you're on the CT side, but you just feel like you're a little bit more set and comfortable in the game now.
Yeah, definitely. But now it's the first gun round. It does feel nice to get the pistol.
Test number 1.
Exactly, yeah. Now's when we're going to find out about the meats and the potatoes. I mean, WRG a bit delayed outside smokes over here. I think they're doing the line smokes towards outside. Those are the 3 smokes. One lands in front of warehouse, one lands between mouth and warehouse, one lands in front of mouth. Create a sick line towards outside where the CTs can't get information.
Yeah, this is kind of like the inverse C smokes, right? Because this way you just don't give them as much room to try and exploit. Normally you'll see that middle smoke actually going on the opposite side towards the container there, but WRG opting for this variation, and they've actually managed to get destroyed down into secret. Now this is a super strong play that you want your lurker to be comfortable with, because if he can get something done from this position, whether it's take map control, you know, sell some presence, or even better, find a frag, that just throws the CTs into absolute chaos. But seems like he's just going to be trying to show a bit of presence and then gravitating back towards the safe side. Bam finds the timing, but Awesome's in position to make sure that he can't get any kills. He wants to try and capitalize on that. In fact, WRG are actually going to be executing into the safe side off the back of it, but it's actually Vaynant and Lord who stand tall on the defense. And all of a sudden, it's just the young gun Falls left in the 1 versus 2.
I mean, he knows Vaynant's position. Vaynant's giving him a 1v1, but I think this is a sort of bait things to try and bait Falls into the peak. He's dinked him. Has 0 clue where Malky's is. Sick bait and switch.
Yeah, 100%.
Going to take contact and but Malky surely gets this kill, right?
I mean, surely there's no way that Falls expects. Okay, he's actually made his way out of that area as well, just sort of playing the safer game. He should be dropping to B here. Oh, excuse me, Malky's is in the vent. I didn't realize that. Okay. Yeah, Falls, he might actually be able to find a bomb plant at the bare minimum. Decides if Vaynant decides to forge the issue, he's not going to. And Falls is going to have heard Malky's here. He's trying to get his way around the side. He knows where the first is, but Malky's is able to trade him out straight away. Oh man, that could have got dicey very quickly. I like the way that Falls actually played that in the end. He tried to use a bit of the time there to get onto the side, committed to the plant, and then immediately tried to use that silo as his cover.
I mean, kudos to Falls. I mean, he did whatever he could, almost wins out. I think that was a 1v3 because he got the trade onto Bam.
Yeah.
So it was almost a 1v3 that landed up with one person staying alive for Zion. But I mean, last night, Malky's was the stand-up performer in that best 3 series for Zion. And I mean, coming to this one, he's starting hot. Destroyed is the exact opposite. He's 0-4, first gun round going the way of Zion. And surely the confidence is high for the Zion boys.
Yeah. They're going to be feeling good about that. First, like we said, that first gun round is so important to make a statement. And we head into a second gun round immediately afterwards. And it's just more of Zion success. Fisher, along with his teamie Vaynant, have both picked up an early kill here in the round, which has just left energy in a bit. Why do I just keep calling this team energy, man? My brain is just not functioning right now. There'll always be energy in my heart with Mr. P&D, but of course WRG are their new home, and great to have seen them actually found such a deserving org as well for the solid lineup as they actually turn this into a 4v2.
Malky's is already downstairs, so I mean, Awesome and Falls, they're going to have a real rough time trying to open up those low bomb sites. They're both going to go towards decon. Actually, they're thinking better of it. It's going to double back towards control, which means Malky sees their feet first. That's one. He's just got to stay alive. He can drop the nade and retreat. And if you're Awesome, you don't really have a way in winning this round. The rotator's downstairs. You know where the last player is. If you're Zan, don't give him 1v1s. Bam. That is the first mistakes you've just made.
Yeah.
Allows him an avenue into winning the round. But I mean, Awesome's still going to have a real rough time. Malky's post on the angle. Second gun round going the way of Zan. And I mean, WRG, they just seem to have no foothold in this map so far. 2 players sprayed through smoke, as tilting as can be. Just not finding your luck. Everything's just not going your way so far, but you got to start turning up these rounds. Getting the next gun round will be extremely important for the side of WRG.
It absolutely will be. I mean, you never really panic at 5-0. It's still, there's not really massive cause for concern. But after that next gun round just becomes that much more important because of how the standing of the game is. So, yeah, this next gun round is going to be a big one. WRG could get a massive let off here if they could try and make something happen with the pistols. They've loaded things up. They've got the Tech 9s and armor, and they're just going to be streaming straight into the bomb side. Fisher stands tall with the first, but there are some responses coming through. It's going to be the 2-for-2 trade. WRG will take that every day of the week. They're frantically actually trying to find some of those rifles. Zox is going to get up on top of the hut, but it actually costs him his life. Vaynand getting in position in time. Plant will come through here, but still a pretty good result regardless of what transpires from this point. I mean, a bomb plant, 2 kills, an eco T side will take that every day of the week. Unless destroyed, yeah, that's all it's going to be. Third kill as well, at least.
There was a way in which you could have got that, right? I mean, imagine.
Yeah, I did see that world actually for a second, yeah.
But I mean, as you were saying, 3 kills, extremely important. I mean, look at the economy of Zion. It's not fantastic, all things considered. Vaynant and Lord are both in single digits, obviously prior to them getting the round 1 bonus. But the fact is that those 3 kills, if you think about the grand scheme of things, they're actually going to have quite a lot of impact. I mean, Malkies can drop one over, and so can Fisher, so that will be fine for in terms of the economy. But then that's the last gun round they have, right? After that, then things are going to go touch and go for the side of Zion, and you'll have a real rough time if you lose the next round. And then if you're WRG, you
this half and all of the maps are. But he's 17. He's calling for people like Nork and Rez. You know, like these are some like seriously skilled, experienced professionals, and we've got youngsters that are haven't even reached 20 years old that are taking on the reins of and responsibilities of IGLing. So yeah, it's not surprising to see different mentalities and approaches being brought into the game, and it's actually super refreshing. I think it's really good for the game as well to always have these different fresh perspectives being brought into the scene so that you always keep things evolving essentially.
Yeah, I think it is interesting. I mean, obviously the biggest IGL change from recent past has obviously been Karrigan to FaZe, and how sort of Karrigan is probably one of the most sought after IGLs in the world, just because of how the meta's evolving, sort of like, especially if you look like a map on Train, where it's sort of like Karrigan's Wonderland, you know, him getting outside, getting all that info, getting towards CT quad or Hull, and getting all that info, and then having his teammates play around that. That's very sort of Karrigan style, and I think I'm in all honesty, like, I'm a big fan of Dexter. I think he's a really good player mechanically. I think he's had a rough start to my sports, and I'm really hoping they're not going to make a change, because they actually lost to a French team today. NBK was standing in, Body was in that team. I can't remember what tournament it was for. It could have been for Snow Sweet Snow. But they actually lost 16-12 on a best of 1 today. And it's super rough considering you think about my sport. You think about this top 10 team in the world, and they just lost. And I'm really hoping they're not going to change out Dexter, because it's been a rough couple of weeks. But, you know, it's the IGL's without a doubt the biggest change. Like, you can chop and change entry fraggers, but as soon as you bring in someone who you're talking about different ideologies, different approaches to maps, then it takes a very long time for everyone to get accustomed.
I agree, man.
Everyone to get comfortable.
Let's not forget, I mean, they also made a second change with Acor, you know, committing to the team now as well. So it's also an AWPA that they've had to try and factor things in and mold around. So it's a new AWPA and a new IGL, and you've got a massive variance in nationalities in the team as well, which makes a big difference, you know, cultures and communication and how people deal with different situations. But I'm bullish on Mars Sports. I would long them for sure. I think that in 3 months, this team is going to be competing at a very high level. Once again, I have very high hopes for them. I agree with your sentiments as well. I think Dexter's got some crazy potential, not only as a player, but as an IGL as well. And I think Acor's a super sick AWPA, but above and all that, they've got the best rifler in the world right now, in my opinion, in their team as well, in ROP. So, like, I think this team just needs some time, man. I think we're going to be seeing some very good results from them in not too long.
All I'm saying is I've been on ROPS' settings for the past couple of weeks. And
is that why you're fragging now?
ROPS has, I mean, we can say that I've got ROPS' blessing. I'll say that.
No, we all saw that 1v5 on Twitter, Nick. Continue, sorry.
It's just like, I think I completely forgot where my point was going.
I'm sorry.
But, I was talking about ROPS
settings.
ROPS, yeah. ROPS is hands down like my favorite player. I think in general, like what he does to the team. Like, when I heard I'm a FaZe fan. I used to be a Cole fan, and I was a big fan of Karrigan, and that's why when Karrigan left FaZe, I was super like upset he's spaghetti, so I started supporting Cole. But now that he's back, I'm 100% a FaZe fan again, even though I think Complexity is better. I just, like, when I heard the rumor that Karrigan and ROPS could go to FaZe, I was over the moon. I was like, oh, my days, my dream has come true. It's Christmas.
Yeah. I know. Nick, you know what dream has come true, and it kind of does feel like Christmas? We're on pause, and we're back into the game, so that's going to have to be... Oh, Awesome's disconnected. Or, I'm not sure, he's still... Oh no, he's still here. He's moving. I don't know if that's just on my side that I'm catching out, but regardless, we move and we continue. And WRG, well, they're going to be hoping to move a point onto the scoreboard here because they've been very stagnant so far on this T side. And they're looking to try and make moves outside right now. You can see they've got numbers, they've got control, but there's a gap in the smoke, and Vaynant has it on lockdown. Fortunately, though, for WRG, they're getting the immediate trade, and Zox just lagging behind. He's going to get caught by Lord. Zion have been finding some very good timings from Mouth, just peeking outside and constantly just being a menace. Absolute menace for WRG, who again have to try and make this work with a numerical disadvantage, man. This is just so tough for them so far in this half.
Yeah, I think it's so confusing, WRG's approach to this map. I mean, they're 5-manning across the map, and when you think about Nuke, the last thing you think about is just having numbers at one portion of the map. They're literally walking outside with 5 people, and now they're going to hit this lower bomb site, and there's 2 people over towards the side of the map, and 2 men down, 1 man down rather, and I think WRG are actually going to have a really rough time in this.
Yeah. Oh man, and there we go. As you say that, things go from bad to worse. Bam with Yorp takes down PND. That's the EGL in the ground. It's going to be on Destroyed and Falls now to try and make something happen with this position. Oh, great shot there. Destroyed was just backing his booty up, and he spotted Bam's head and popped it like a pimple. And that converted into the 2v3 as the bomb goes down. Destroyed's holding the angle on Lord as well. He's going to step into his crosshair, but Lord wins out that fight, and Falls doesn't have much HP to his name, so he doesn't have anything going for him in that regard. He gets taken down, and Zion go up 7-0. Nick, those alarm bells maybe not ringing, but they're not far from it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're WRG, you're not abusing the protocols that Zion do or don't have in place, right? What you're doing is you're throwing outside smokes, you're not putting any pressure inside, so essentially WRG aren't worried at all about the A hit, so their A rotators going down vent straight away to help B. And then as soon as that happens, you've got numbers towards the lower side. There's so many angles to worry about when you think about coming down secrets. You got to double step the double guys, and then you got to double step the single guys, and there's vents to worry about. And then when you go off the side, there's top silo, there's rafters, whole bunch of things. And WRG need to start abusing the protocols. And again, this round they're 5-manning outside, and they've tried this. And you know, the definition of crazy is trying the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And if you're WRG, if I'm like watching this game, I'm scratching my head like, what is the approach here? Like, you've got one smoke now, you've crossed downstairs, they've smoked you off. Now what? Now what's the approach?
Check Bam's positioning, man. He's made his way through Squeaky Door. He's got so much information in lobby right now. Seeing there's no presence whatsoever from the T side. Fisher downstairs here as well. He's still holding secret. His rotation's coming through as well. No, Melkis is actually going towards heaven. Not really committing to the information that they have here right now, Azar. I'm really perplexed. Now Melkis decides he needs to get towards this B-bomb site. Might be slightly too late though, because WRG have actually been able to get quite far forward towards the bomb site. Although Melkis and Fisher still both stand tall. Awesome will be removing Fisher though, and that's going to be prompting Melkis to swing out, takes down one, nearly finds a second and a third, but it's only going to be damage on the further 2 players after the initial kill. And this is looking a lot better for WRG now as they take control of the bomb site, they secure the plant. They've got the 1-man advantage, decent crossfires set up as well. And if you're Zion, you're looking to save these guns because your economic situation actually isn't all that good, even though you've won 7 consecutive rounds.
Yeah, I mean, that round worked for WRG, but in all honesty, I don't actually know why. Because if you were alluding to the fact that Zion had all the lobby info, they had all the outside info. So
yeah,
why are you leaving Fisher alone on B sites, expecting him to get 5, and then you have 2 players coming through ramp, which has been smoked and mollowed off? So then you got no chance. But I mean, WRG, they may find like in my opinion, a false sense of security winning this round because they think, oh yes, we've got a round on the board. But in all honesty, I think it's that was completely Zion's mistakes that led to WRG winning that round.
Absolutely, it was just weird because both Vaynant and Lord were still like watching outside from CT and Heaven, both sort of playing the same role there, and then Melkis is coming towards the A side. Yeah, so that one was confusing. Maybe just a bit of a lapse in communication. Maybe Fisher was even like, guys, they're not here at all. They're going back. I'm not sure. Anyway, Zion at least still do have enough money to buy up into the round, so it's not the end of their run just yet. If they can win this round, they just continue to keep so much pressure on the T side, and WRG continue with their bread and butter here. They're going to be going outside once again. Vayner with a very aggressive angle there, completely exposing himself to Silo without any fear, in the hope that he can try and get an early pick outside, but it's actually PND who gets the pick, and it's a slight variation. We see the 4-1 coming out of the T side now, and PND is actually been able to get out of dodge. Great movement from him means he's going to keep himself alive and get into the B bomb side. This is looking very good for WRG right now. There's no response whatsoever from Zion. They're all over the show.
Yeah, I think right away you're looking at the plus in this round was just pressuring door. Panda gets a free frag, and then he realizes that they're actually lobby crunching. He catches the one player looking through Squeaky, and then he's able to drop the vents. Vaynant has got a frag in response, but Bam is being a bit overzealous towards the back of Silo. Maybe he believed that he should have taken that gunfight, and it's actually fallen because of it. Vaynant, full blind, trying to get a frag on towards Zox, but actually staying in the molly. Him and Lord are going to get a frag apiece, which means like that, man advantage Zion Esports.
Yeah, that makes things so awkward as well when you consider the positioning of the remaining two T players. The flank coming through from Mulkey. Oh my god. Nick, where did it all go wrong there for WRG? I mean, it just seemed like that quick flurry of frags plunged them into a chaotic situation, and there were just too many angles to contend with at that point.
It's super rough because Zion just feel like they're just running around the map. They're dropping whenever they feel is necessary, and then like no one likes to hit the lower site when there's like more than two players there, you know. And I think Zion, yes, they got a couple lucky frags, but WRG they're doing the same thing again. Like, I mean, hopefully it works this round for their sake.
PND lurking inside, or sort of the one man by himself, the lone warrior towards ramp, while his teammates make their way towards secrets. It was weird for me how WRG sort of put the brakes on things, and instead of committing straight to the B bomb side as soon as PND dropped down vent, they all just paused for a couple of seconds, whereas if they'd pushed immediately, they would have gone to the sides a lot sooner. But they're going to have to focus on the round, the task at hand right now. They're clearing out the areas to try and take control of this B bomb site. They've lost their IGL once again, not before he could find a kill though. The next frag going to have to find is Melkis, again nestled in the corner here on this B bomb side. He's going to look to try and make something happen. He catches Zox off guard, and he's able to get through the double door, which means he's not going to be tradable. Himself and Awesome dancing between one another. And it's Zion who have the advantage once again, Nick, until Awesome takes the initiative to find that kill on Melkis. Big round here for WRG. They desperately need to get across the line in this one.
Oh, they desperately do. They've got really decent post plants, all things considered. Two players towards the control area, and all three of these Zion players coming through the ramp. So a good flash from Falls allows for the entry to come in, but a missed. Oh, Lord just got one through the smoke. There's one play towards Dark. Falls. Bam.
Bam, edging his way around the corner, and he's going to hit the shots onto Falls. The little crash peek as he comes around means Falls can't get the adjustment in time, and he's going to win the 1 versus 1. Two of South Africa's potential future stars locking horns in that 1v1, and the AWP, well, not reachable, but that's not going to be any drop of sweat off Zion's brow. As they march on 9-1 on Nuke.
Dude, like, the only, like, there's just no variation. It's the same thing again.
Yeah, I mean, probably like to see them actually just putting some more emphasis on the A side from this point, just trying to either whether you wrap through heaven or you wrap through mouth. And PND are going to be opening things up. This is the third consecutive round now that WRG have had the opening kill. They've only been able to win one of the two that have had results. So let's see if they can convert this one. Oh man, there we go. There we go. Awesome, just feeling a little bit more. I mean, he's a flamboyant player, Nick. He's the type of guy who needs to play with no fear. He needs to back himself. He's that guy who's going to come around the corner, and even if you have the advantage, he'll still destroy you. And I think maybe sometimes you get caught up in, you know, trying to play the textbook Counter-Strike, and Awesome tearing the lid open on this round with two big frags. And a 4v2 for WRG in a round that they have to secure. And Falls, who's been super patient in this round, finally rattles off a shot that results in a kill. And WRG making sure that they keep themselves in the hunt here, even though they're going to be behind 9-2. There's not going to be any money left in the bank here for Zion. Nick, I mean, a 9-6 halftime scoreline, it's not outside of the realm of possibility here for WRG.
No, not at all. All things considered, these rounds that WRG have lost and Zion have won, it's come down to one player, two players staying alive. Even if you think back all the way to that eco before the pause we had, that was two players alive for WRG on that eco round. At Zion, they've been scrapping for whatever bits of money that they can pick up. And because they've won so many rounds in a row, there's no loss bonus at all. So that means Lord, he's probably going to have the only rifle going to the next round. I don't think Zion should invest around this. I mean, yes, you can make a play with the M4, but I think that's pretty much as far as you can go, considering you can buy the next round after that. So now it's WRG's time. It's their time to start posting up more rounds, post this one on the next, win the next gun round, and then you're right back in the game. 9-6, as you said. I mean, we would have never thought that this would be 9-1 down, or in that sort of situation that it would end 9-6.
I mean, I think if you had offered Zion a 9-6 halftime scoreline at the start of this, they might have considered it. I mean, you know, when you realize Destroyed's back in the server, you're probably expecting a straight fire WRG team. So, I mean, yeah, I think Zion are going to be okay with things at 9-6, but obviously considering the fact that they were up 9-1 means they certainly will be looking for a few more rounds than that. And look at what Zion have done, Nick. There's 5 players in secret right now. They've made the read, and it looks like they're going to have a bit of an opportunity to take some frags. Awesome flying forward, on point, comes down the corner, gets greeted by the Deagle. P&D, he's going to have to get a big job done right now, along with Destroyed. They're just going to continue to force these fights. This is dangerous from WRG, probably ill-advised, but Destroyed able to eventually break the deadlock. Oh, look, sorry, coming around the corner with the M4. He finds 2 quick kills. I didn't even see him with the backstab. He plunges WRG into absolute chaos, and now it's just Destroyed left in the clutch. So much time left on the clock, but the bodies hit to the floors. His compatriots are out of the round. He has to clutch this out. There's only 23 HP between the 2 remaining Zion players, but man, oh man, what a big round opportunity this is for them, considering they came into this with the eco. Destroyed gives the audio cue away as he shoots the vent open. He's going to actually fake the plant. And Lord's in such a good position to just shut him down here on the timing. He's going to commit to it. He comes around the corner. He finds him with the bomb in his hand, and Zion win the round. What a gut-wrenching blow that is for Zion, or rather from Zion for WRG.
I mean, if Falls hits that AWP shot, then, I mean, completely different, right? I mean, Falls, he's lurking towards outside with the AWP, and he misses an absolute sitter onto Lord, and then because of that, Lord's able to double down and ultimately get the 3rd kill in the round. And now WRG, they're going back to their bread and butter, which hasn't been butchering their bread very nicely. It's been the ugly bread that no one really likes, but I mean, it's worked so far this round. Destroyed. He's got the opening frag. We spoke about wraps last week, because some speak about bread this week. Gotta change it up, you know?
Yeah, get that bread, bruv.
Get that bread.
I'm about that linseed bread.
I mean, no, honestly, I'm straight up fine with just straight up Albany white bread. So.
Oh, Nick, what?
Super unhealthy, I know.
That's dessert, bro.
Thirsty.
It's the white bread's dessert. Brown bread's the meal. Everyone knows that.
Nice one tap.
Yeah, nice one tap indeed there from P&D. Again, it was the opening pick in the round found here by WRG, and P&D, he's actually been able to work his way into this A site. Lord coming up the vent though could be a bit of a menace. He does find Falls, and he is going to be going down to Zox. If he got another kill there, that would have been massive. Still Zion with a bit of a sniff in the round here. Bam, hanging around Squeaky Door, looking for the timing as he opens it up. Obviously, that gives his position away. So he's sort of going to be hanging around now, waiting for his teammate Melky's to have an impact. Oh man, awesome. I know you're feeling it, but probably ill-advised to be taking a fight like that with the AWP when you've got the bomb down. I'm not sure if Zion are actually going to be going for this or not. They don't have any money left in the bank. I mean, if they save these 2 weapons, they can consider buying up in the next round, because both Vaynant and Lord, who's just DC'd, have enough money to buy in the next. But it's not going to be a full buy round coming out of them. However, WRG have done enough to secure themselves a 3rd round going into the next. Let's see if 10-5 is going to be on the cards here. Lots of damage being done here. Yeah.
He's going to die to the bomb.
He's either going to die to the bomb or to BAM. And it's going to be the latter. And you look at the money. It means they're going to be short on like an extra smoke or a couple flashes, which can always be the difference in the long run.
I mean, yeah, without a doubt, the fact that they're throwing 3 outside smokes off the rip, and then they have Panda often throwing that vent drop util, then there's 1 smoke towards the ramp, so you need every smoke. Every smoke is worth his weight in gold, and that's why Falls, he's decided to downgrade himself over towards the Gil. Mad respect, he seems to be that type of player who's willing to take one for the team, make sure he gets that full utility so that they can throw the 3 outside smokes. But one thing I want to say from Zion's perspective is they've been winning these retakes on B. They've rotated, they've cheated rotates down. They've been able to get this lobby info and single out this duel onto P&D. So, and now they were winning those rounds pretty comfortably, right? If you think about it, comfortably is definitely not the word, but the fact is that they were posting the rounds up on the board.
Yeah.
But then when they try to play more aggressive towards outside, I mean, you think about the round where Vaynant's peeking outside from back red with flashes. He loses the opening pick more like, just leave outside. You can understand that you can single out this lobby player. You can get his frag, and then you retake 5v4 on the B side. Maybe Melky's gets 1 when he's down. And if you're Zion, you can just play your game and let that White Rabbit have outside, because they're not actually doing anything with it, in all honesty.
Yeah, no, I think that's spot on. I think that Zion have been assessing the CT side very well here so far, making great reads on WRG's T side and not being afraid to try and act on it, right? Like, as you mentioned, they are taking initiative. They're taking some fights in lobby, not afraid of taking the fight to squeaky door as well. They're not going to be sitting back on that A site and ramp and just letting the Ts have free control. And I think it's really important to be proactive in your defense in that regard, because then you're always in the T side's head, right? Like, they always feel slightly uncomfortable sitting in lobby. They never know if there's going to be some sort of aggression coming through. So I think it's always important to make sure that you do add that little bit of extra element of doubt into your opponent's mind.
Yeah, and it's definitely something that WRG haven't addressed. Is yes, they're putting door pressure, but the fact is that it's only one player holding inside, which is super rough considering when you're a single player holding inside, they can come from ramp, they can come from hut, they can come from squeak. So Zion don't seem to have identified this possibility, but now...
Bam.
Oh, good effort. Good effort.
Yeah, actually gets the shot through the wall into PND, but Baart set himself up into position to trade. He will, but Zox goes one further. Off the back of that, WRG are going to be taking full control of the Sage bomb site. I say full control though. A quick kill between Malkis and Lord means that the advantage actually goes the way of Zion, but they don't need to force anything further from this point, Nick. They already have the advantage in the round, and the fact that they're looking for more kills here is costing them drastically. And the lack of experience shines through in this round as Zion gift up a golden advantage to steal this round away from WRG and go up 11-3. Now it falls on the captain in EGL, the player who's actually had a very impressive half so far, to try and clutch it out, and he's not going to be able to either. Oh man, Zion spilled the milk.
I really like the switch up from WRG in that round, right? They throw the outside smokes and they group up straight up for that A exec. And I mean, it would be a completely different round if Bam gets that full kill and then he gets traded and then they actually go 2-for-1 instead of 1-for-2. Completely different round. However, mad respect to WRG, the fact that they switched up. Yes, the whole T side's been the theme of these outside smokes and they've been using them to good effect. But I mean, I want to see more of those A pops. Or Zox is just knifed his teammate. So I don't know how it wasn't a backstab, but I mean, it worked. So.
Well, I mean, the one thing that he could be like is they just have Desert Eagles. So, I mean, if you were going to get headshot, you would have died anyway. And Vaynon looking to probably try and land a couple this close as he edges himself around the smoke, waiting for an opportunity. Oh, yeah. Nade chips them down and multi-finds one through the smoke. Bam gets one as well. It just seems these rounds in which Zion have less to work with, they still have the proficiency to get work done. And Vaynon looking for falls is actually going to go down. That's a big pick. However, WRG not even remotely out of the woods just yet. When you look at how low both Destroyed and Awesome are, this is going to be a tough round for them to convert. A round which started with Zion only possessing Desert Eagles and Armor, Nick, has now turned into a round that WRG are looking like they might struggle to make ends meet in.
Yeah, both these players are body shotable, which means Fisher, he doesn't know this, but he actually has a really super nice sort of welcoming for these Ts, because Destroyed as well as Awesome, they're going to have a real rough time taking these gunfights on the lower bomb side. Obviously, both one-shottable with the Deagle, Falls being the only one with armor. I mean, with noticeable hit points. So Malky's playing up close. He's going to be in front of that Utah, which means he could yield himself a couple of frags. Those flashes aren't going to do nothing. He's going to get one, he's going to get two, and he's going to get three.
Okay, I thought it was a headshot, but still the third kill is impressive nonetheless. And there we go. We just see that low HP coming through and consequently resulting in those players going down so much easier to the Desert Eagles. A great crossfire set up by Zion there on the B bomb side, and it means that they take an 11th round going into the second half, Nick. They're up 11-4 here on the T side, and you know what that means, baby. If you win the pistol round, you set yourselves up so much nicely to close out the map from this point. And conversely, it means that WRG have a lot of pressure on their shoulders right now to win the pistol round so that they can keep themselves in the hunt here on Nuke.
Oh, it's a lovely little ramp rush. Malky's going to throw the store.
Oh god, destroyed.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's going bad to worse for WRG.
Yeah, PND, the first responder here, trying to get some control, but he has to end up falling back as well. And Zion, they're just charging into this B bomb site. Falls is down the vents, and he's finally going to be getting a kill back here for WRG, but the damage has been done. It looks like Zion are still going to be committing to this B bomb site, so at least WRG have got the players in the right position right now. All three of them are towards the lower bomb site. You've also got a player towards the single door. That's awesome. He's waiting for his moment to pounce. And Zion are tentative in finding the plants. In fact, they're trying to find some frags before they commit. Awesome, he's been baited in by the plant. The player on the rafters, it's Fisher. He hits the shot, and bam, he takes down PND as well. So the pistol round goes the way of Zion, and they complete the first important landmark on the second half here, which is winning that pistol round. Now 4 rounds away from closing out the first map and stealing WRG's map pick away from them, Nick.
Oh my goodness. I was about to say, WRG, 2-0 victors tonight. They have destroyed, but I mean, doesn't seem like Zion really care. They're posting up some sick rounds and they have a much needed important pistol round. And Fisher, he's going to be farming towards outside. He's going to get one into PND, falls. He's got a USP tapping away. Outside smokes come in. It should be a pretty much an easy round coming out from Zion, all things considered.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? I mean,
yeah.
There's no ways that the USPs get anything done here.
No ways, right?
Right? I mean, USPs are just going to, die soon. Look at Destroys. He's come all the way with the full flank. It's flanks on flanks right now, as Zion also flanking through CT into heaven onto the A site, securing a plant. And yeah, there's no ways that they retake it from here. But certainly have a crack at it. And there we go, Malkis mops up.
Love that.
Yeah.
You gotta love some spray downs and some unarmored USPs, right? I mean, name a better thing in the day, when you got on CS. There's nothing like it's almost up there with hitting your one taps with your UMP, because I genuinely think it's a rifle. That thing's nuts.
Yeah, that one's clean. I was gonna say, being a retake king is also up there. There's a couple of them. But yeah, I agree with you for sure.
13, no kids even? What?
Yeah, big gun round here for WLG. Pretty much do or die action. It looks like we're going to be seeing a bit of a change up from Zion here. Immediately wrapping around outside towards heaven. And this is going to be a bit difficult for WLG to navigate. You can see Destroyed is outside. He's going to catch the timing onto Bane, and he pivots 90 degrees and he takes down Lord. So at least he finds 2 for the price of 1. And PND also going to be picking up a kill. Nicely timed peek there from him coming out of Secrets. Catching Zion completely off guard. So this is looking like a stern defense coming out of WLG so far. They didn't get rattled even though Zion turned up the heat and started to get aggressive on the push. They still knew that they had all their bases covered. And now Zion slowed down the pace with only 2 players remaining.
Yeah, PND is regressing towards outside. Spot Malky's head. Trading dinks. I mean, Zion...
When have you seen an AK come out second best to the FAMAS trading?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're Zion, there is a hole towards ramp, which they don't know about. Like, Falls is not spotting this area, and no one from WRG has info towards this side of the map, but they've been awarded full outside control, so the play for Zion would actually just be to contact ramp with 2. However, obviously, they don't know that side of the map is open.
Yeah.
They're going to carry on pressing the issue towards Secret, it looks like. PND is going to be the one to welcome them with open arms. But he's actually thinking better of it with the timing.
Yeah, I like that as well, though, because when you look at his teammates' positions, no one else is towards the B-bomb side. Yes, Zox can drop down, but he might be too late. So PND, recognizing how important he is right now, he's going to just put himself in the corner, gets the first, and he's going to find the second kill into Fisher as well. It's a 3-piece for him in the round, and he gets to upgrade to the AK. And that's a great start here to the second half. I say start, I mean, considering we're at the first gun round, and WG are on the board. They need to string a couple together, though, Nick, and we've seen them be a little bit messy in these anti-eco/anti-force buy rounds, so they're going to have to be clean in this one for the cause of their economy.
Oh yeah, Zion are just looking for as much damage as possible, even just playing the mental game from the fact that WRG, you've had a super rough start to your map. You're going to have one mammoth of a comeback if it is to be done, and if you're Zion and you can just get a couple deagle frags, get in the heads of WRG more than you already are, things are going to be sorted. Falls is going to flash for PND to peek outside, but he's going to get no information with it. False information, that is. Zion, they've just spread across the map with these deagles, trying to do as much damage as possible.
Where do you stand on the A1S at the moment, Nick?
Why, dude, like M4. If you have an A1S, right, and you buy it, the only justification I have is if you're main AWPing and you understand that if you're going to drop your teammates, save a couple dollars. I mean,
fair.
Lord is putting someone in the grave, so... But otherwise, like, if you're a rifler, if you're Tapson, no, stop using it. I don't care how good your aim is.
Never pick up that gun.
I'm just saying, A4 is so much better. So much better.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Why buy the A1S when you can just buy the UMP?
Or, in Destroyed's case, save an AK. And then don't have any dilemma on the CT side.
I mean... If you're Falls, you're literally asking for someone to drop you the A4 right now. I mean,
you know what I think it is? I think Falls never wants to drop for his teammates, and because he has the A1S, nobody ever asks for a drop.
That's true. You need
that's the big brain player right there.
That's actually big brain. Someone goes, Kurt, can I have a drop? And he goes, I've got A1S, and they're like,
be right back when you go vomit.
Now he's going to be on 10k in the next coming rounds after they win because he's not dropping anyone guns. Big brain.
You know why they say rich people are rich? It's because they don't like sharing their money. So,
I mean, if Falls can get up, if he can get up the AWP every round because he never has to drop his teammates because he's playing with a horrible gun, by all means, do what you gotta do.
Let's see what Zyno gonna get done in this round. They got 3 Galils and 2 AKs, not much util either. So I mean, it's a bit of a mishmash they got going on in this round to try and make ends meet. Although I don't really mind this when you got so many rounds to work with. You can try to be a little bit more creative. And it looks like they're going to be just setting up for an A executor. Everybody's still hovering around that T-spawn area. Smoke starting to rain in, setting up outside. Actually, they're going to be wrapping through mouth, might be the play. Again, it's that mouth smoke along with garage. And they're going to start making their way towards CT once again. So this is something that we saw similar to in the first gun round. And where do they take this? Because they've got options available, and it doesn't look like they're immediately trying to get up onto heaven. In fact, destroyed. How does he get a second kill in that position? He only has 2 points of health, and somehow he's still able to best Bam. He is hanging around, though, so Baynard should absolutely be getting this trade. He takes down PND as well and destroys. He's quick on the trigger because he knows he has to get that first shot off, which ends up giving his position away. However, at least Falls has been able to get a kill in the round, which means that WRG still do have the man advantage. As Zion dropped towards the B site, and there's nobody. Oh, there is. Excuse me. Zox is in position, so he's the key right now for WRG. Even though he's been smoked off, and he's actually going to play the long game.
Just open the door. All you got to do is take him off the bomb. Oh, that's super unlucky. I guess I don't understand.
He's trying to play the long game, I guess. And there we go, but now he's giving his position away, so I'm not sure what the school of thought was. Awesome. Going to be catching Baynard. Oh my god! They double peek and they swing into the same spray. Awesome goes down to the headshot. Falls suffers the body shots, and now it's all on Zox, who is the first responder, and he's going to be responding to the first bullet out of Lord's AK. Straight to the dome, 14-6. That should be the map done and dusted. I mean, there's enough money for them to bring up another buy, but Zion somehow get across the line with that mishmash of AKs and Galils. Even a lack of util, but they get the job done, Nick. Oh my god, what would you just witness?
Like, WRG are giving so much respect to Zion outside, and I mean, Zion are just saying, we'll take all the map control in the world. If you want to give it to us, we'll take it. And look what they're doing with it. They're having really impactful rounds, and even though that does come down to a 2v3 at the end of it with a sick double spray down from Vaynant, I mean, Zion are having a super polished T-side. They're playing the super well. Nice changes of pace. This is a faster variation of the previous round. Launched just ripped PND's head off. Bam's coming in through heaven. He's taken out Awesome. Nice readjustment on towards there. PND towards first vent though. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3.
Oh, destroyed, standing tall in the defense. Oh, he gets a 4th towards mouth as well. The ace is on the cards as Bam is still lurking around in the vicinity. Actually gives his position away as he rattles off a couple of shots as well. But destroyed being the difference maker here in the round to keep WRG in the game. Oh man, those 4 kills are of such high impact, and he actually puts the Org on display as to why it's such a fantastic weapon in that position as well. And Falls closes things out, so WRG, they get a massive reprieve. Nick, there's a slight glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel, but man, it's going to be a grind for them to try and reach it.
Oh yeah, and this is going to be the first test of it. I mean, I'm saying test is... There's dual Berettas on the server, so watch out for them. I'm just saying, Falls doesn't have head armor, so all I'm saying is dual Berettas against no head armor.
So you're saying they lose the round? Is that
no ways. I'm saying they lose the AWP. I'm saying they lose the AWP. Oh, they're waiting the ramp smoke. Little D1 flash from Elkies. That's destroyed full blind.
Yeah, he needs to get out of here. We saw in the pistol round he decides to try and take the fight. This time he thinks better of it. And this is the type of play you should be seeing out of your ramp player. Just take Zipnix for an example. Go watch his demo every day of the week. He'll show you how to get the job done and destroy it. He's in form right now as he starts to feel it. 7 kills for him in the past 2 rounds. And not that much money here for Zion, so that they're gonna have to eco again. But that wasn't a full force in the previous, was it?
No, it wasn't. I think they just had one guy with the scout. I mean, Bam's brought up the hero AK. I think that's been a misbuy. But I mean,
because they don't have the round loss bonus to sort of substantiate that, so I think as well it must have been a misbuy.
They are gonna try to do something with it. So I mean, the round is not done just yet. I mean, Zion have found a whole bunch of success with this outside play. Couple mollos thrown out and 2 smokes allow for this heaven wrap to come into place. Now these Hell players are going to be pressured some more, but destroyed. He's just peeking with as full confidence as possible. 1 frag, eventually gets traded out. Vaynant's going to get another. Nice shot from Falls though.
Yeah, now he needs to get out though. Great decision making there from him, realizing how important it is that he stays alive. Vaynant and Lord, the 2 players left alive in the situation for Zion. And again, I mean, looking to try and do damage at this point, but the prospect of winning the round is becoming an increasingly realistic one, but the timing is going to be there for Zox as he comes up. Oh man, he spots that he's had rotten luck throughout the game the whole time, and he's clearing himself the corners. He comes around again, and Feynant goes around once again. Just scope in. Okay, Zox, he's going to get the lineup now, right? As he comes around the corner, he's going to spot him. No, again, they get around just in time, but Falls, he's already set himself up. He's in position. So Zox has basically just corralled them into the Orpa, who's holding the angle, going to come around the corner, gets the first, changes to the Desert Eagle, and he's going to get the second as well. And Zox, he's just, man, cannot not catch a break. He's 5-19 at the moment, and everybody who knows Zox knows how much crazy potential he is, so he's having a tough game right now.
Oh, the fact that BAM full invested the previous means that Zion are missing out on another opportunity to full
Oh my god, this is almost like a triple extended run now, man.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. That's always a case of poor management and destroyed. He's been flashed up and he's hanging around. He's got support from Awesome as well. No, he doesn't. That's on the opposite side. Destroyed able to get back, but for how long is they rampaging down, looking to try and overwhelm him, and he's only going to be good for one. The response is fairly slow. No, actually, PND, he's in position. He gets one as well. Fairly low HP. BAM making moves with the Tech 9. Zion just seems to have this uncanny ability to always make something happen in these rounds, even in which the ones that look the least likely. And there's an Org in the sights as well. Fish is able to get a kill. He's taking a tunnel vision onto him. Zox, he just swings out wide. He gets one before he goes down. Falls with the Org. Keeps cool, calm, and collected. Backed himself all the way to the bank as he should have. But if he missed that shot, that was the round over.
Team Ace coming out from the boys. Each of the players from the side of WRG all chiming in. But that was an eco. Once more, we spoke about the misbuy from BAM. Led them into another eco round coming into the next. And now, finally, we're seeing a complete full buy coming out from them.
Yeah. We've got that meme, right? With the guy with the glasses who's holding the butterfly. And it's like, is this what a full buy is? Zion just like seeing it for the first time now. Is this what full belt of util and an AK and head armor looks like? Wow. Haven't actually seen it this half.
Oh, it's super rough.
I mean, 14-10 now, Nick. I reckon WRG are going to be feeling a lot better of our proceedings. They've won 6 of the past 7 rounds, right? So they're going to be certainly considering themselves back into this game. And on the CT side of Nuke, if they can get to like 14-12, they probably feel like it's even keel at that point.
It's the old double-digit rule, though. Got to watch out for that one. They say the team making the comebacks, as soon as they get to double digits, completely different story. You're speaking about Zion playing this free sort of Counter-Strike, no pressure on their shoulders, but I mean, when you're 14-11 up, 14-10 rather, up, then I mean, then like surely you had the lead, you had everything going for you. 14-6 exactly. You had the lead. Now they're crawling back. Surely the elements of the pressure start to creep in. Gonna see what they can do in this round. Just gonna be a straight up upper pop.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't tried this yet, and it's always good to give it a go at least once in the half, right? You want to test the CTs on the defense, but Zox blinded up, stands tall. He gets himself a 3rd kill. Oh my god. Absolutely destroys Zion on the exec. And he says, do not even remotely consider such a basic strat against us, as he destroys them. That's such a statement as well, right? Because now the IGL, I mean, how reserved is he going to be to call that strat again in this half?
Yeah, I mean, Zox gets mollied out, full blind, 2 frags, gets a 3rd with Awesome getting the dink, and then a 4th, the man running out of the door. I mean, great round coming out from Zox. Who's speaking, he's saying he's having a bit of a quiet game, had a couple of unlucky rounds. But I mean, he single-handedly wins that one. But Zion, they're coming right back. Another full buy, another task for WRG to overcome.
PND throwing a bit of a one-way with the molly to give himself some cover as he comes up. He's going to be spotting one player, rattles off the shots, and in fact, his own molly is actually what's going to be stopping him from being able to extend out far enough to take the fight. Might have actually kept him alive, though, because if he goes out too far, he exposes himself too much. Falls, though, with Yorp has been able to get one, and he's spotted a second player outside, and he connects on the shot. Falls has really started to come alive in the second half here as well for WRG. However, he has given up the heaven position, so it's absolutely vital now that somebody else assumes that control. And there's also been BAM who's lurked out into the vents, and there we go. You can see Zox has now assumed that control. So it's really important that everyone's on the same page when you're making these adjustments. It's been accounted for essentially. And now it's a 3v4. Zion starting to congregate around the safe side. You can see them trying to evaluate whether heaven's an option or not, and Both Fisher, along with Malkis, have made their way up. They're going to be dropping down. Zox, though, starting to hit his shots. He picks up 2 kills. Fisher, the clutch. Oh, he gets the lineup. He doesn't realize he knows, but he has no chance because Destroyed is on top of him. And WLG, man, they're going to be breathing a massive sigh of relief after that one, because that quick double kill could have led to their demise.
Oh my goodness. These rounds, it's one frag, a change in one frag just changes the complexion of the round. And I mean, Lord, he spotted towards outside. He preemptively tries to peek an AWPer even after he'd been spotted. I mean, surely you just ask for a flash in that sort of a situation, something like that, so you can get out. But I mean, he loses his life, then I mean, easy for Falls. He's, as you said, come alive in the second half. He's 24 and 18, 26 and 18 is the only player above him. That is Destroyed, topping the server. Great game coming out from Falls and Destroyed respectively.
Yeah.
And they've been two players who I think Destroyed had a pretty slow start. I think he was 0-6.
Yeah.
I know PND also had a slow start. He started to pick things up, but I mean, Falls, he's been taking the game by the scruff of the neck, opening rounds up with the AWP. He has missed a couple questionable shots on the T side, but I mean, CT side, he's been a completely different beast.
Yeah, I mean, he really has been, and sometimes you need that, right? You need that from one or two of your individuals to pop off, because everybody else can also feed off of that energy then. And when you look at it, you see Zox now, he's starting to come out of it. He's starting to come out of this bit of the slump he's had in this game. I mean, he had 5 kills, I think, like 2 or 3 rounds ago. He's already up to 11, so he's going to be feeling a lot better about proceedings. And in general, 14-12 means that WRG are going to be feeling much better about proceedings. I said a couple rounds ago, if they can reach 14-12, and still be ahead of the economy game, then they probably feel like they're back and if not ahead of this game. When you consider the standings and the fact that they're on the CT side and the momentum they've got behind them right now. I mean, Nick, these guys have won 8 of the past 9 rounds, so they're certainly on course right now to at overtime at the bare minimum, if not close this out 16-14.
I mean, you spoke about the fact that they were 14-6 up, right? And Malkis at one stage was 21-7. And he's been the hard hitter for Zion Esports. So think about the CT side. He has multi-frags towards the low side. He's been possibly one of the single-hand players who's been posting his rounds on the board. 21-7, that's 9 rounds. And if you look at it, we played 9 rounds of the T side, right?
Yeah.
No, we played 11. Okay.
Yeah, a bit more than that, but still.
I mean, the fact that he has been silenced completely on the T side has effectively been one of the main contributors as to why the CT side, aka WRG, have had such a good response. 14-12 now, and now it could genuinely go either way. 14-6, now you've won 6 rounds in a row. Now I say WRG, they've got all the momentum.
Yeah, let me ask you this, Nick. Whose camp would you rather be in right now?
I think WRG, no doubt. Like, you've won 6 in a row. You had a slow start. The burner started slow, but now the confidence is up. Everything, the TS, the comms are going to be good. Everyone's going to be feeling good. I think this is now WRG's game to lose. Yes, Zion need two more rounds to win the game, to win the map rather. But I think now it's WRG's to lose. In all honesty.
Yeah, okay. Well, I actually tend to agree with you. I think I'd rather be in WRG's camp in this position as well, especially when you consider that they are the favorites coming into this game, right? So when you take the scoreline out of it and you say, okay, they're on the CT side and they control the economic situation, then they should be controlling the game. So let's see if that's what's going to be playing out here. Once again, we've got these precarious pistols, these pesky eco rounds that Zion have been consistently getting work done in, and they're going to be popping towards ramp once again. Destroyed's got a job to do. He gets some damage down, but he's going to have to back off and wait for some support to come through on the angle. He finds 1 and 2 as he toasts a couple players up as well. Only 6 bullets left in the chamber for him, and he's able to add a 3rd to his tally. PND getting in on the action as well, and it's going to be clean up on aisle ramp as WRG don't even lose a single player, getting all 5 kills, and they've got 4 orgs and an AWP, so it's scoped weapons across the board.
Definitely not an org meta. No, not even a little bit. The only thing we need
at
is
least
for
it's
everyone...
map dependent, right?
Yeah, exactly. The only thing we need is for everyone from Zion just to buy Kriegs, and it would have been last year all over again. I mean, 2019 all over again.
We're casting COD at that point, right?
I mean, pretty much, right? Got a couple interventions on the server.
Oh boy, take me back. But this is a big round for Zion, because if they lose this 14-14 and all of a sudden they're just going to be feeling like the game's completely slipped away from them if they aren't already. And you can see WRG, they recognize the magnitude of the situation right now, playing very passively on the CT side. not giving anything away right now, controlling heaven all the way from the top, watching hell as well, not contesting outside at all right now, and Destroyed, he's gonna get caught off guard. They get way too quick, and now that makes life very difficult for the A players, but also get 2 kills. Falls missing a close one though, is gonna be making life very tough. Bam up close, he doesn't miss his shot, but oh my god, Fisher, he falls to his death, and that means Panda gets the 1v1 up against Bam, who doesn't have the bomb, but he does have time, and P&D has no idea where he is right now. My god, Fisher, his hands are going to be in his head right now, or his head's going to be in his hands, but either way, Bam is the focus in the Zion camp. And it's the EGL, the cool, calm, and collected. Oh no, Bam! That's not the first time he's actually pre-fired that angle. And he's given it away. P&D, he just creeps out and he catches him in the back. Oh my god. A series of unfortunate events for Zion means that they lose the round. Nick, that's just such a big let-off.
Fisher's literally Sunny. What?
Oh yeah, Channels is in a Sunny.
What? 14-14 now. Now, if you're Fisher, your confidence is... You're in the gutter. What a blunder.
Oh, Fisher doing his best Falls impression, man.
That was a good one. Mad respect, though. Mad respect.
Man, oh man. And now it's everything they've got left here. It's a Mac 10, Take 9, Galil, and they're going to try and burst onto this upper bot side once again, but also with another kill as he takes down 2. Zix on the defense as well, and WRG of their form here on Nuke as they shut down the aggression from Zion, only lose a single player of their own, and they go up onto map point here. After such a hard fight back on the CT side, it's been a hell of a run, Nick. It's been 11 of the past 12 rounds for them to have reached this point, but because Zion did so much work in that first half and the early stages of the second, they're still in this game, Nick. They're still at the prospect of win one more round. You force OT and you completely reset things. So they have to still have their hopes alive here on Nuke.
The only problem is the util situation. You've got 2 smokes, 3 flashbangs, and 2 mollers to work with. If you're Zion Esports and your bread and butter has been this outside play, you found a lot of success with it in the early stage of the half. Maybe that's why they've chosen for this delayed outside play. Maybe waiting for WRG to make the first wrong step, the first mishap.
I mean, we haven't really seen Zion be super passive yet on any of their T rounds, right? Falls needs to be careful. This is just not a fight worth taking right now. Getting this kill, yeah, it's cool to get the early man advantage, but if you go down, you leave your team in such a tough position. So he has to stay alive right now, and that's why I'm really glad to see him backing off. And I mean, Zion, they only have the 2 smokes and 3 flashes remaining, along with the 2 mollies to conjure up and execute here. So they're going to have to commit to whatever they decide to make work here. And it seems like they're going to be throwing the wall of smokes outside. Or, excuse me, no. Oh, no, it's a miscomm. Is that 2 smokes into garage? Or did I not see that correctly? I'm not sure. Because it looked like it was. False finds 1, but now they execute into the A side comes through. It's actually not a bad result for Zion. They get a couple kills. Molly into heaven means there can't be any immediate response from WRG, and the 3 versus 3 post plants ensue. Zion alive and kicking, destroyed with the flank. Such an important first kill for him. He's gonna have spotted Lord and inside as well. He just holds down mouse button 1 as he finds the kill onto Mulkeys. WRG complete the comeback and they get themselves the win on their map pick, not without them having to work incredibly hard there. Zion with a great performance, but Nick, you can't help believe that they're going to be very disappointed that they weren't able to get across the line. But before I let you have your say, let me just make everybody aware of the fact that we're going to be opening up our giveaway for tonight, a 250 Rand Steam voucher, courtesy of Evesports. Keyword for that is YORBA. Get your entries in chat here. Only enter once. YOBA. Caps, no caps, doesn't make a difference. We'll be announcing the winner on the second map. But Nick, how close and how entertaining was that game?
25 times 10 equals the amount the Steam voucher is, right? And 10
yeah, that's it.
The rounds won in a row.
Oh,
WRG 14, dude, 14-6 to 16-14. I mean, we were speaking about slow burners. That a slow start, but I mean, coming out of it, Destroyed had an absolute blinder. Falls had some sick rounds. Zox, we were speaking at one stage, he was like 5-20 or 5-19. I think he finished that game with like 17 or so frags. Like Zox had key rounds, awesome at key rounds. Think about everyone on the WRG roster. All of them contributed to a round win, and ultimately they win their map pick, which is something to keep in mind. Their map pick. 16-14. It was a bit slow, it took a bit long, but I mean, the fact is that they won up in the series.
I'm actually glad that you mentioned his name there. You mentioned about Awesome. I think he was a bit of an unsung hero, in fact, on that CT side, because it was Kurt, of course, Falls and Destroyed getting most of the multi kills and most of the flashy frags. But Awesome pretty much always got a multi kill before he went down on that A bomb site, which meant that he always left his team in a favorable or advantageous position before they relinquished complete control. So massive work done by him on the defense, and just as you mentioned, an all-round very solid performance on the CT side. WRG probably got much closer than what they would have liked though, Nick. And coming into Dust 2, they're probably going to be expecting a much cleaner performance out of themselves now that they've got some momentum behind them. However, it is Zion's map pick, and they did play against each other on the map last night, and in fact Zion got the win 16-9. Of course, there was the stand-in to speak of for WRG, always that little asterisk, but they've shown that they're competent on the map before. We're going to be taking a short break. Remember, we got that giveaway for the 250 rand Steam voucher open at the moment. The keyword for that is Yorba. If you've entered already, don't enter again. We'll see you guys in a couple of minutes for map number 2. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this Finance Tuesday evening of Counter-Strike. We've got Zion versus WRG in the middle of the action right now. We're just playing off the back of Niix, where WRG managed to make an emphatic comeback to win out 16-14 after being behind 6-14, Nick. Crazy 10-round win streak for them to get across the line and close the game out in regulation. I mean, they were probably hoping for at best overtime at one point. The fact that they closed it out in regulation means that we get an early dust too. Zion, I can't help but think that they're probably a bit disappointed with themselves that they fell so short.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, not only the fact that you've dropped the map, which looked to be yours. I mean, 14-6 up, irrespective of whether it's your map pick or the opponents, in this case obviously being WRG's, you'd obviously run into favorites winning that map, right? And I think the running into the second map and even throughout the rest of the series, it's more than just going 0-1 down coming into Dust 2, right? The fact that you're still 0-1 down, yes, it's your map pick, but your confidence is shot. You know, you were up 14-6. You've essentially thrown the map in an example. But I mean, coming into this next one, you just got to treat it as a best of one. If you win this, you go into another best of one. And you can see how it goes out. I think it's going to be a rough mental reset for Zion, but I think if they can do it, then I mean, 69 in the week. Yes, Blue was playing, but I mean, come on. I mean, Zion, they still got life left in them.
Yeah, I mean, they have to have life left in it. This is the lower bracket. This is your life on the line. You have to give it everything you've got until that final straw has been drawn. Remember, we do go to Inferno next if Zion do win out here on Dust 2, and that's going to be a tough prospect for them. I suspect that WRG are going to be fairly heavy favorites going into Inferno. It's a map that they've looked very comfortable on in the past, and they're a very strong team on that map purely because of the individuals and their strengths that they have. So if you're Zion, it's a tough series from here, but all tough journeys and challenges all start with the first step, right? And that step right here is Dust 2. Of course, WRG had the choice of sides, and they chose to start on the
CT side.
CT side. There we go.
Pretty
so, CT side for WRG, T side for Zion. We got a giveaway open at the moment, guys. It's for a 250 Rand Steam voucher, courtesy of Evesports. The keyword for that is Yorba. If you haven't entered already, get that in. If you have, then don't enter again. And we'll be announcing the winner of that giveaway sometime throughout the second map here. Nick, what are you expecting from Dust 2 yet? Do you think we're going to be seeing Zion fighting back and taking us to a third? Do you think it's going to be a close affair, but WRG get across the line? Or are we going to be seeing a WRG blowout?
You know, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I really don't. I think even though Blue is playing in the week, 69 from Zion, I think Destroyed is one of those players where everyone speaks about Dust 2. The first thing that comes to mind is individual, like your own individual skill ceiling, right? And I think Destroyed has one of the highest firepowers on this WRG team. I think you can probably put him on the same level as probably like Awesome. I think both of them, when they pop off, they're extremely scary. Like if you look at that WRG team and you're like, I don't want that guy to pop off, Destroyed's definitely one of them. So I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any stretch. I do think WRG are coming in as favorites just because of the fact that they had a super strong run in the end of Nuke, and the confidence is high, the comms are going to be flowing, everyone's going to be looking good. But I mean, even if you fall back, you understand if you're in WRG's camp that it's not the end of the world. You can still win this map out.
Yeah, okay. I like your assessments. I think I tend to agree with you. I mean, I think I just want to talk a little bit more about Destroyed and Awesome now that you touched on them. I think that they need to be the key star fraggers in this team because both Zox and Falls are so young. I think it's important to make sure that there isn't any added pressure on those youngsters to perform, because you don't want it to be like a sort of do or die situation where every time they play, these two young guys feel this pressure that if they don't perform at the top of their level, then WRG won't be competitive. Whereas Destroyed and Awesome have been around the block for a little bit more. They know what it takes. So I think they need to be standing up and taking the responsibility in this WRG team. I think that it's a good opportunity for Awesome to also do that in the long term. I mean, you know, quite a lot of people might not actually know what a mad lad this guy is at the game, because he hasn't really been a part of a team for an elongated period, right? At least not that I can think of right now. But now it doesn't mean that he doesn't have that experience and that ability to play the star player role. So I'd like to see Awesome and Destroyed put their hands up and make sure they take responsibility, along with P&D, of course. He's going to be shouldering the majority of the responsibility in this team. He's going to be looking to set everybody up as much as he can and sort of be the puppet master behind their hopeful success here in at least EGL Season 2. And then that's where you let Zox and Falls thrive, because now they don't have that pressure on their shoulders. They are the young guns who like to make plays and like to try and be active in their game, and they feel like they have that leeway to go ahead and play their natural game. So I think that should be the sort of dynamic that WRG are aiming for, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything you said that I disagree with. I mean, I think everyone I think Falls and Zox are those X factors where if there's no pressure, if there's no cards on the table, they can absolutely perform at the highest of their game. They can drop 30 without a doubt. I do agree with you 100% that PND, he's going to be the shoulder everyone's going to look to lean on. There's 3 people pushing up into the pistol.
I know. I'm looking at this right now. Oh my god, Destroyed's awesome. And another one, I don't even know who it is because it doesn't really matter because Destroyed's found all 3 frags. Oh my god, if this is not WRG asserting themselves on the map, then I don't know what is. Doesn't matter if we're on the T or the CT side, we're running mid at you and looking to take the fight. And off the back of that, Zion, they've had the right response, Nick. They're like, hey, let's just pivot onto the B bomb snip. We know it's free, but Destroyed's already gotten in position. And he found himself a 4th kill in the round before he eventually got taken down. Awesome gets a kill as well. And it's WRG who get themselves on the board first. But man, that's surely a statement, a shot across the bow, if you will.
Dude, what a start. The fact that you've come off a super confident end to Nuke. You know Zion are absolutely in the gutters, and the fact that you lose a pistol round in a split second because no one's spotting the mid push. I mean, Destroyed, he's got 4 in this round already. He had a slow start to Nuke, but had an absolutely blinding finish. And I think this is what's going to be the tell for the rest of the game. Awesome's going to open up this round, a flash play towards middle. But it's just going to be farming eco frags for Awesome. 1, 2, 3. Finally taken out by Vaynant, but now it's going to be Zox who's going to be cleaning things up.
Yeah. Get the SMGs in there as well, boys. Nice, of course.
I think he's in the smoke.
Yeah, I always want to be safe than sorry. I mean, Vaynant doesn't have armor. He does have a smoke, so I mean, there's could be something for him to work with. But yeah, good clean round coming out of WRG so far. They need to make sure they don't lose anybody further from this point, because going into the next round, they're going to be going up against the full might of the AKs, and they want to make sure that they have some money left in the bank. Ooh. Oh my god, Vaynant doing PND absolute dirty, but I don't think PND should have had any interest in taking that fight up, going up against the Desert Eagle at range. He only had the MP9, so never going to win that fight out. And Vaynant, he's a cracked Eagler, man. I've seen him do some nasty things on the weapon before. And I mean, just creating some opportunities here, right? He spots Destroyed, who's just watching the angle. I mean, it's just he's just making WRG think a little bit this round. Going to be throwing the Xbox smoke.
I mean, if you're Vaynant, all you want to do is, if you take out 1 more frag, you're sorted. The fact that this was almost a full eco coming into this, Melky just brought up 2 flashbangs.
Ooh. Okay, yeah. As soon as he catches the dink, that aim punch becomes a factor. But yeah, I mean, 2 kills, at least that's a thing, right?
Without a doubt. And I mean, Zion, they're buying straight back into this round. I mean, WRG, they've got 2 FAMASs, 1 horrible M4 and 1 good one. And then the scouts onto Falls. So I mean, 5 AKs coming your way. This could be the way Zion mark the map. Mark there. Make a mark on this map. That's what I'm trying to say. Jeez.
That's okay. I got there. Yeah, I agree with you completely. It's a great opportunity for them to sort of set themselves up here on the T side and get on the board, going up against this mixed buy that WRG have got to work with. The one thing that you have to sort of mention is that Zion have a very poor looking belt of util across the board right now, and Destroyed has opened things up onto Vaynant, which is actually one of the main carriers of util, if I'm not mistaken. So that's just added insult to injury, and now the long player has been taken down. Bam, I think he's probably a little bit ahead of his team there. When you're the one player playing that role by yourself, you sort of want them to take contact onto the site and start taking site control before you commit, and this is when you should probably look into be trying to have the impact. But it's WRG who have all the advantages right now. They still have 3 players around this A site. Destroyed standing tall on the defense, looking to deny the plant, but he's not going to be able to do that. However, he's already done his job until he decides to, I don't know, I mean, he was making the right play there, being disciplined, and then he gets a little bit of ahead of himself. Falls missing that shot with the scout. Things getting interesting right now. PND needs to bail him out. He was waiting for the flash to come through. Lord with the AK is doing work as well, even though he's been brought down low. And man, just low HP players all across the board as that round comes to an end. But as the dust settles, it's WRG who get across the line.
Yeah, and that's 2 AKs that can be retrieved, and False was only on the scout the previous, so his money is going to be building up. And if you're Zion, you're going to probably just buy up some deagles into this one, maybe have some armor behind them. But WRG, they're set themselves up for a 4-0 victory, and if you think 4-0 lead rather, and I mean, if you think back to Nuke, it took a hot minute until they even got to that 4-round mark. So they've got a really good start to this one. They're going to start to build up the economy. Hopefully they get this one cleanly for their sake, and they can start building up the economy. Falls, he's already bought up the AWP, so they want to make sure they keep that up into the next. And Zion, they're just going to look for damage, but Destroyed, he's pushing the issue.
Yeah, he needs to get out of here, man. You see, this is something that tends to happen probably more often than it should with Destroyed. He's getting overzealous and over-aggressive around in which it's an anti-eco. There's no need for it to be making these types of plays, and you've given a rifle up. Thankfully, Awesome's been able to get the kill, but he's not going to be able to deny them saving it again. And even once you've spotted them, the information's enough. It doesn't mean you need to hang around. And I think that it's sort of a trend in Destroyed's game, and it has its pros and its cons, right? Because sometimes he pulls off those crazy situations, but then it comes back to that mentality of what we were speaking about earlier. Just because you won the round or you got the kill doesn't mean it was the right play. And it's always important to condition yourself, with the right mentalities, so that when it comes to crunch time, when you're in that major final and you're in that 1 versus 1, your natural instinct is to play the correct manner of Counter-Strike.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, like humans, just as we are, we're all habitual creatures, right? I mean, we do things by habit, the way you practice.
Yeah.
When I was growing up playing football, the narrative that the coach always pushes is you play like you practice, right? And I mean, if you start getting these habituous things in act, you start doing the right things more often than not. Maybe even in periods where you don't have to. When you have to, then you'll be doing it second nature, and that's exactly what you want. That's why the best players in the world are the best players in the world.
That's actually why I mentioned like the major. That's why I mentioned like you're in a major final, because you can, and obviously that's an extreme example, but my point is that when you're in the most tense game you've ever been in your whole life, the plays that you're making are habitual at that point, but it's the habitually correct plays to be making. You don't have these bad habits that are going to be coming through in these moments where you don't have time to think about what sort of plays you should be making, and that all comes down to what sort of practice you've been instilling and processes you've been complementing your game with. So yeah, it's critical, but I think it's important to be critical because that's what creates room for growth.
Yeah, I mean, as the age-old saying goes, anything worth doing is worth overdoing, eh? So anything worth exaggerating is worth over-exaggerating. So, I mean, take it up to the next level. But, I mean, Zion in this round, they're just going to straight up mid B. They've cut the map in half. With Vayner out towards middle, he's full blind for a hot, 5 seconds, but he's not going to get punished for it. It's actually going to be short that looks to be under question. 4 players reside there for the T side, 1 towards the lower region. Yeah. But still a standard 3-2 setup coming out from the CTs.
We haven't seen this full short burst into the A side out of the T side yet, and it doesn't look like they're necessarily going to be committing to it in this round. In fact, they're starting to gravitate back towards V, so just showing presence, but they didn't actually show that much presence on short. I mean, normally we'll see teams maybe just dropping like the CT smoke and the ledge smoke and then, sending a lurk out, but they're just going to go straight into the B split here. 2 players coming through middle. It's going to be 3 through tunnels, actually. PND finding 1 through the smoke. Zox needs to make sure he doesn't get tunnel vision here. He's going to get wrapped on the right. And Vaynant, what was he with the player jumping across who got that headshot? I think it actually might have been Falls at least able to get a frag in response to keep the numbers even as the bomb goes down. And now the retake ensues. You reckon? I don't know. You got Awesome in a good position as he comes around the corner, tapping away. Actually gets the first, and there we go. Destroyed off the Chaos, was able to capitalize on it. Awesome needs to wait for Falls here. They realize Fisher's position. Falls is going to be swinging out, spraying away. Actually can't connect. It's Awesome who taps. And the surgical precision in the end is going to lead to their success. Even though there's only 1 player alive, WRG, they win the round.
I mean, the reason why I said save is like in that situation, imagine Awesome's coming up tunnels. There's an off post, a back plat. He has no utility to flash him off or whatever. There was no util throughout the whole WRG camp. But I mean, who needs util where you can just focus on the cross in the middle of the screen? I mean, Awesome did that to good effect. Tapping away. He gets 3 frags in the retake, and I mean, that's 5 rounds in a row for WRG and Zion. They had a really slow end to Nuke, and they're having a really slow start to Dust 2. So we got to start seeing these momentum-based players, the confidence coming out from them that we saw in Nuke. We got to see that come into flow into Dust 2 if they have any chance of not only staying in this map, staying in this series, but ultimately staying in this tournament.
But that's a great point you make, Nick. They've WG have won 15 rounds in a row now when you take into account the 10-round win streak they had to close out Nuke. And Zion with an aggressive mid-push onto this B-bomb side. I wouldn't even go so far as to call it a split. 4 players also to come through the window because the door is smoked. They're being corralled like cattle into the fire and the flames. It's the crossfire of Doom. PND mopping them up. He's going to close it out with the USP as well. That was a full gun round. And Zion, they just looked so frantic and frazzled in that situation there. They needed to wait for that smoke to dissipate on the door. That was way too easy for PND. A super one-dimensional defense was all that was required out of him, and that's 6-0 now.
Yeah, I mean, a sick lockdown coming out from Zion. I mean, that's often what it's called as a lockdown. So what happens when the mid B is threatened, you can either choose to drop the smoke towards the tunnels and focus on the mid B, or you can drop the smoke towards mid B and then focus on the tunnels, which is what PND and Zox did to good effect. They smoked off the door, which meant the only place that the Zion players could go through was window. And then PND, he got 4 frags in the round because of it. Falls was taken down, bam. There shouldn't really be much to go on about, but I mean, Lords caught Falls getting a bit overzealous, which now means the 3v4. I wanted to dive more into this last round, but now this round's on a knife's edge, so...
Awesome, it just spotted Malkies. Yeah, make sure you remember your point there so you can cap it off after this. The problem for Zion is that the bomb is still all the way towards long, and Awesome is still alive here. Oh, but he's going to get destroyed. Malkies' Desert Eagle does the damage, and this is actually looking very doable for Zion all of a sudden. Zox on the angle. There's what? Smoke? Is there a second? There is. Okay. Full smokes on the cross means that the bomb's going to be getting across unscathed. And this is looking increasingly like Zion's Ryan. Vaynant on the flank. Going to be able to get one. Oh, Lord, he drops. My God, that was a risky play from him. If he goes down there 2v2, probably his team... actually they do stand a lot less of a chance of winning the round. I was going to say probably lose it, but might be a bit of a stretch. However, it's PND now in the clutch, 1 versus 2. This is going to be very tough for him though. Malkies is in ditch, in pits. He's got the AWP as well, and I doubt PND is going to be clearing it all the way. Already come around the corner, and Malkies has the audio cues. If he just, yeah, there we go. Just has to hit the shot, and he secures the round. Zion, they bring an end to that 16-round win streak that WRG had over the second half of the first map and the first half of this map, and they get a round on the board.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I was hoping WRG would save so I could dive into more of what I was saying, but I mean, double smoke for the cross. I mean, you know what they say, double smokes means it can stop twice as many bullets, eh? So.
Oh, yeah, of course. Oh, bam! Puts him in the ground. Great start to the round here for Zion. That's exactly what you want out of your AWP on the T side of Dust 2. And off the back, they're just going to propel straight onto the safe bomb side again. WRG are going to get caught napping. They haven't been able to shut them down as they've come out of the choke point. Destroyed on the angle, takes the fight. It doesn't actually realize how far forward they are. I don't think so. It's actually Awesome who pays the crucial price as he goes down. And the remaining 2 players have no choice but to save. Zion finally starting to find their flow here on Dust 2. And it looks like they've easily shifted into gear now.
Yeah, the momentum has come out from them. I mean, Bam gets the opening pick towards long, and all of them hard-tailored towards shorts, understanding that WRG seem to be playing this early 2-man B setup means mid is left effectively vacant, and they understand that when WRG rather going to take long, they're going to do it with numbers, so they open up the short area of the map, which allows them to just train up. Zox and PND, they're just going to save these rifles. I'm going to say rifle because UMP, big fan of that guy. I call it a rifle myself. But basically what I was saying in the other round is, you think back to it, which is like 2 or 3 rounds ago, essentially dropping that smoke towards the door. If you're the T side, you either have 2 options, which is either to cancel, which is you can't really do it because you think you're on a timer, right? You've smoked mid B. You're on a timer. That's 18 seconds. They've smoked the doors. And that's a longer 18 seconds if you think about it, because obviously you're not going to smoke the door. Exactly. So if you're the T's, the protocol is to either flash through the smoke or you effectively retake the site, understanding that you're on a complete timer. So the best opportunity is you have someone holding the smoke push from bottom mid. They can they can line up a flash which lands just above the doors, and then you have guys going through the smoke and through the window at the same time, and then effectively you're sort of retaking the site from the CTs. But Zion, they all just ran straight to the window, and I mean that's free real estate for PND. Zox is finally going to get a frag in this round, and the same people who saved the previous round, they might have to save in this one again.
Malki's checking the flank is going to go down. Yeah, I think they should... I mean, I think they should still save. And you look at both Destroyed and Fall's economic situation, they would love a drop. That flash, though, is going to allow PND to just go on a bit more of an explorative mission. Zox edging his way forward. He's got the AK, so the one-tap potential is there, and that's exactly what he does. He destroys Bam, but he doesn't anticipate Vaynant to be on that off angle towards shorts. And now PND left to contest. He's popping them like pimples right now. It's only Vaynant left. He's playing behind Gant. He has to take the fight. He's been brought down so low. PND's got the molly as well. He pulls it out. He forces Vaynant into the open. Gets the kill, but he doesn't have the time.
Dude, he had time, but he jumped.
Do you have the music on?
Yes, I do.
Like,
he had like 0.05 seconds.
Oh man, I don't think he had enough time. But we're never gonna know unless somebody goes back and actually calculates it. But yeah, man, what a crazy turn of events there. Vaynant staying alive for just long enough, and Zion, they win that round. Nick, crazy scenes in that one.
Dude, like, if only he knew the HP, because if he knew the HP, he just drops the molly and just jumps into the bomb, because
Sticks the defuse,
Baart was
yeah.
11, or at least he was red. So, oh my goodness. Dude, these rounds are coming down to split-second decisions. Zion, why are you fighting P&D on long? Just both hide, get good post plants. Both of you are caught in no man's land towards elbow. Nothing's
Yeah,
going to work
true.
there. But what Zion are doing this round to great effect is they've been utilizing
Yeah.
this long pick. WRG are not effectively scared of taking that position of the map. So now they're just going to contact out long. So if WRG aren't playing information towards this area of the map, they're going to have a real tough time.
Yeah, and it's a great adjustment as well, because Zion have been showing most of their emphasis towards shorts in the past couple rounds. So now we're seeing this change up, and this is awkward for WRG. Falsey has no choice but to go back through the molly, destroys as well. That does a huge amount of damage to them combined, about 120 in total, if not a little bit more. Awesome, he's in a key position right now because he knows he's safe from shorts. He can stay in this elevator, and it's going to be a 5 versus 5 as the bomb goes down. This could be a 4th consecutive round for Zion. They'll really start to sink their teeth into this half if they can get across the line. But awesome, he's the key as he makes his way forward. He catches Vaynan, but Malkis is there to keep his teammate alive. Now we're going to be seeing the push coming up from short. Destroys, he is low, but he's found a kill, but that's what it's going to be from him in this round. Falls, missing the shot with the AWP as well. He gets double peaked, and now it's just PND left tapping away. He's going to go down as well. 6-4 Zion starting to find their mojo now on this T side. That's 4 consecutive rounds for them as they started to feel a lot better about proceedings here on Dust 2 as they're fighting for their lives in EGL 1 Season 2.
Yeah, 4 consecutive rounds, and rounds that have been going towards like the last split-second decisions coming out from the CTs means that look at the buy from the side of WRG. All of them just on upgraded pistols. 3 of them have brought up armor behind them. So now Zion, they can go within 1 if the shot goes their way. Another missed AWP shot from Bam. He missed a very similar shot towards that region of the map, but actually what Destroyed is doing, which I'm a big fan of, he's taking the space towards the top and middle. He's by the barrels.
Oh,
He's heard
timing. I don't think Bam realizes this. Oh, it just
Dude, we have
depends
to
on the
watch
passing from
Destroyed.
here. Because Vaynant's, oh my god, he's going to hear the audio cues. He gets the shot. Fits 180. Oh, he can't land the instant headshot. PND's at least been able to find one in the process, but Fisher restores normality as he finds that swift double kill, putting his team back in firm contention. And PND's just going to try and fly out here with long. He's got the 5-7 tapping away. Oh my god. Doesn't look beautiful, but it's relatively effective. The double nade going to be missing its mark somehow, by God's grace, PND's been able to stay alive for an elongated period. And Zox with the response here, going to be dropping a molly to delay the plant. The PND's a dead man. He's like, oh my god, I was going to say he's channeling his inner Prince Charles right now. And now Zox comes around the corner. I don't know if you've seen the photos lately, but he's hasn't been looking great. But anyway, neither was PND, but he still gets a kill, man. What a mad lad.
Yeah, he was living on borrowed time, and as soon as PND gets that kill, I thought, oh my days, like this is now winnable for Zox. Both players less than half HP, completely different story. But what's happened is that Fisher rather hit a 6 shot towards CT spawn, and now it does look like Zion, they finally found their stride, right? They've 5 rounds in a row. They've had a straight up response, but PND, his response is the AUG, the scoped weapon. He's got 3. Oh my days, absolutely love to hate to see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a bit critical of this. And I guess again, it's one of those plays that you could sort of try and sing the praises of if it came off and be like, it's a beautiful variation. But these A splits have just been working so well for them. They haven't even really been splits. It's just been either the commitments up short or long. And WRG, they haven't had an answer to it yet. They've been struggling round in and round out. And I feel like they've missed a trick here by not just keeping up, sort of plugging away with those 2 execs and just continuing to pile that pressure on WRG and sort of forcing them to try and come up with a solution to the situation. And it looks like the solution this time was play full retake, stack B, and they had the numbers there to deal with that rush. So I think Zion just getting a little bit ahead of themselves there. Sometimes teams, you know, you feel like, okay, we have to have variation on our T side, so when are we going to throw the variation in? And, you know, sometimes it's actually not the end of the world to just keep plugging away, doing the simple thing, because the opposition also expects that variation sometimes. So, yeah, if I'm Zion, I'm just keeping up with those execs until it stops working.
Yeah, without a doubt. And the fact that they've had so much success towards that A split, as you mentioned, and they've been given so much freedom towards long, like you can, if you walk out long around and you've understood that WRG are not playing information towards that side of the map to good effect, then you can pop the A sides extremely quickly. What teams are doing, which I think is extremely interesting, is what they do is they have two people lining up the safe smokes for long and two people towards close, and then they have a flash which they pop as the smoke's in the air, take the duels towards CT, and then you're taking the duel, you win the duel, the smokes pop, you're crossing the site. That is a super nice variation, super nice pop in a way in which you can end on the A site, and something which you could have a lot of success with if you're Zion. But I mean, you were saying you've had so much success with this A split, like, if it's working, why change? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. Like I said, sometimes you just feel like you have to have variation, right? So you almost feel compelled to try and change it up, even though it's working so well. Anyway, now they go back to their bread and butter, taking things slightly slowly, showing early presence towards long, and now congregating towards short. There is still money left in the bank on a couple players, but both Bam and Lord are on $0. So, I mean, this is an opportunity for WRG to break the economy. You can't really say the same on the flip side. WRG, they've got some cash in reserve, and they've got a 3-round loss bonus, so they're buying up in the next round, even if they lose this one. So they've got a little bit of a cushy situation going for them, and P&D with the Molly Nade combo, he's going to get a frag for free there as he gets unblinded, looks up to his kill feed and sees he gets the kill. That's always it feels good. He's 18-6 right now, by the way, Nick. Leading from the front is the EGL, having a lights out performance so far here on Dust 2.
Yeah, and I mean, if you think about these 18 frags, he got that 4K when they were trying to split B. He's got an opening kill this round. He got that 3K B hold. All of them have been high impact frags when his team has needed him most, and he's turned up. He had a slow start on Nuke, and he's had an absolute blinder on the CT side of Dust 2. So now Zion are left scratching their heads. 35 seconds left on the clock. They're just going to push the issue towards short. 3 players are going to be greeting them. How do they go? Fall's going to open things up. Destroyed is going to take out Lord. Fall's another missed AWP shot, but Bam is going to miss one in response. Fall's going to go back. 6 shots.
Shot, boy. And P&D is going to be closing out the proceedings. The man who opened things up finishes things off here for WRG as they continue to work their way back into this game. I mean, not like they were behind, but the fact that Zion had won 5 consecutive rounds meant that there was a bit of pressure starting to mount on them. However, they've dispersed of that now as they pick up 2 of their own and they get some decent economy behind them as well. They're probably buying up for the rest of this half regardless of what transpires. So they're going to be feeling good about things. The one thing I'll say for Zion is I think that they need to be a little bit quicker on the trigger here. They've looked the most dangerous when they've been going up shorts a little bit more aggressively, just showing some short presence or showing some long presence early on, whether it's Util or your AWPer taking the quick shots and then going up short. That's when WRG have been caught in transition. We've seen Falls. That's when he's been shifting from long towards short when the T side are already towards the site. So normally as the AWPer, you want to be holding that angle before they've even come around the elbow, right? But in this case, we've seen Zion getting ahead of that position. So if I'm Zion, I'm trying to exploit that again from WRG. I'm trying to catch them napping. I'm trying to keep them posted that long for that extra 2 to 3 seconds so that I can get out of elbow before the AWP is posted on the angle.
I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. Falls he's 6-6 in this game, but I mean, he can have an absolute monumental impact, especially when you think about what a CT AWP can do on a map like Dust 2. Zox is pushing lower. He can catch the ball.
Was he spotted is the big question.
No, he definitely was not.
Okay, coming up around the corner, he's going to dispatch of Melkis. He spots out the second player as well. It's just about how much can he get done from this position, because one and done doesn't really validate it in my opinion. And Destroy's going to pick up a kill as well, but he's in dangerous position. He doesn't realize the imminent danger, but awesome. He's the key in the round. He comes around the corner, misses the first shot, then have a second bite at the apple, and it's actually the prolonged spray that gets the job done. Now it's the young gun Bam who's left in the clutch, and he's actually trying to fake them out here as he smokes into the B bomb site. The problem is his time is limited as WRG are going to realize there hasn't been a plant here, so maybe he's trying to pull something sneaky. However, for the time being, they're still fully trained towards this B bomb site, and Bam is getting closer and closer to wrapping on them right now. The question is, does he commit to A from here, or does he try and wrap around them? And it's going to be the former. And this works very nicely for him. I mean, he does only have 15 points of health to his name, but he's guaranteed the bomb plant. And you can see for WRG, the penny has dropped. They've cleared the bomb site out, and they don't see him. Giveaway, we need to make sure that we keep that alive as it keeps coming back into my mind. Remember, guys, last mention of the giveaway that's open at the moment, 250 rand Steam voucher. Keyword is Yorba. If you've entered already, don't enter again. We're going to be announcing that in a couple rounds' time. Bam. Hoping to add an extra round onto the tally here for Zion before we head into the final of the first half. secured the plant and been able to get back to a fairly decent post-plant position. Not only that, but it is his favored weapon of choice on the ground. It's like the stars are aligning right now. AWP comes out, but he can't hit that instantaneous shot like Awesome can. 3 kills for him in the round, and WRG make it 9.
Yeah, the super nice aggro from Zox opening up the round. He takes out the bomb carrier and uppers, but then bam, he comes through the mollo to get the trade. And then it's just outlasting aggression from the side of WRG, which could have worked to really good effect. Imagine if PND hits that shot in uppers, then this round, no one's going to break a sweat. The round's done and dusted right there, but bam, going to make things competitive in the 1v3. Almost having a chance of winning it out, but now if you're Zion, you had a stretch of 5 rounds in which you won, and now it feels like you've hit a brick wall again. You're not finding any success across the map. Now's your time. You've got to get things done.
The one thing I will say is this has been some great resilience on display from WRG, because often on Dust 2 I've seen them do well, but then as soon as they start, as soon as the opposition starts getting into things, sometimes they go a bit anon. And that hasn't happened today. They've been able to rediscover what they want to try and accomplish to overcome the challenge at hand, and they're doing it to good effect here this time round on Dust 2. And it looks like they want to try and get aggressive up short. As you can see, falls on the angle while Destroyed hangs around the corner, but he's going to get super aggressive. He just walks out and catches Bam off guard and then gets back off the back of that. That's going to activate the exec coming in towards his B-bomb side. And Zox, he's got PND, but PND was just the bait. Zox was able to hold the angle, and he absolutely decimates them as they come around the corner. 10-5 as WRG take a commanding lead into the second half here. Remember, this is a lower bracket game, which means that the loser will be eliminated. And WRG are just 6 rounds away from eliminating Zion here in the 3rd round of the lower brackets.
How's it, Oaks? My name's Ethan, and I like multi-frags.
Oh, yeah. Racking him up, he is. So, into the pistol round we go. Okay, so WRG have won 1 pistol round tonight out of the 3 that we've had. So, let's see if they can even things out at 2-all. Looks like they're going to be going for their B split. I think they generally are always very aggressive on their T-side pistol runs. The team should know this by now. It's going to be the flash into middle, but Baynun, oh my god, he stands tall, lines them up and knocks them down with the 3K. Clean headshots across the board as well, and that's a great way for Zion to start the second half.
Yeah, super rough. I mean, pistols are super 50-50, and it just so happened that WRG happened to walk into a 2-man mid setup, and Vaynon playing close towards the doors. Anti-flash meant that he got 3 free frags, and it's going to be a full eco coming out from WRG, and the next just Glock training down middle. Lord can do some farming with this UMP. 1, 2, 3, get the 4th, absolutely knife him back. Just knife.
Nick, you love it when they make you count, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. Dude, I gotta keep it up sometimes. I can't lose the craft.
Yeah, I mean, one way or another, you gotta practice it, right?
Yeah.
Why not do it for multi-kills? Yeah, I mean, who needs to count further than 5 anyway, bro?
Exactly, like.
So, Zion actually have the less favorable buy coming into this round. It's 4 AKs and the Galil for WRG to try and set themselves up here in the second half. It's a good opportunity as well, as I mentioned, considering the weaponry that they're going up against. However, this is a full-on bonus round for Zion because they kept all 5 players alive in both the pistol round and this round. Meant they bought head armor pretty much for free in the second round, and everybody's sitting on a decent amount of money. They've got they each have a little nest egg left, their inheritance. They've invested it. There's some cash going on there. If they lose this round, they can buy in the next, and it'll be a full buy. So not too much pressure on Zion's shoulders going into this round.
Not at all. PND going to be throwing the hinge smoke towards short, which is a variation to the Xbox smoke. It just denies that info for the CTs and the walk up short. And Zion are playing strong long, so they're giving all this information to the Ts, but they are making sure they can get rid of this long lurk. Awesome, he's been found out. Now they understand that the other part of the map under question is going to be the short area. But if you're Zion, rather, just stay alive, play retake. You can perfectly long position. They only have 3 flashbangs, so maybe they're going to be inclined to go for a frag prior to that. But this mid lurk from PND could get found out, or the exact opposite. He could get some success on towards Fisher.
Oh, okay. Looking interesting. 3 versus 3 as Destroy takes down Lord as well. This is becoming slightly precarious right now for Zion as they do look to commit to the retake, but Falls is taking down another, and this is where things become dicey. Both Malkis and Vaynant still hanging around. Malkis ticks to the molly, so they're aware of his positioning as well. Not only that, but WRG have gotten back to decent post-pump positions. In fact, they look to try and force the fight. Oh my god, that looked very messy at one point, but eventually the frag is found. It's a 3-piece for Destroy in the round. And he's been looking great tonight. I mean, started off slow on the T side of Nuke, but ever since then, it's been lights out. I mean, he's 19 and 12 at the moment. So really doing some heavy lifting and showing Zion on what they missed out on last night.
Yeah, I think one of the attributes to this WRG team, which I find especially scary, is any of these players have the ability to win around single-handedly, right? I mean, we spoke about Falls having a high impact last game. This game, yes, he's having some impact for rounds, but it hasn't been him who's had to step up to the plate. It's been PND 20 and 10. He's almost about to open things up, but it's going to be the B sides on the question. Fall's going to be the first to fall. Zox with the trade, but Fisher's going to be the only player there. So it's just like each of these WRG players, any single one of them can win around single-handedly, and we're seeing this come to full effect. Destroyed and PNB having big games. Prior to this, it was awesome. Yes, Destroyed had a massive impact on Nuke, but each of them has the ability to win the round and ultimately win the map.
The question is, Nick, do Zion go for this? They've got no util and they've got no money in the bank either. It's actually of utmost importance that they take these weapons into the next round, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Unfortunately, it's probably a second too late that they realize they could have taken an extra gun into the next round if they had made the decision off the cuff. And I think that's a really important ability that teams need to generate, and it's that you need to be able to call the save or the retake, and you commit to that call from the get-go. You can't be indecisive and sort of hanging around and oohing and ahhing and waiting. Even if it's the wrong call, just commit to it, because when you're left in that gray area, that's when everything starts falling apart. So I'm a big fan of just making one call and committing to it.
Yeah, it's really important to come up with a plan if you ever get into that sort of a situation, right? If in that situation, exactly. So, how are you going to retake the B bomb site? This guy has 2 flashes. Okay, you can double flash above car and we can peek, or double flash above window. However you want to do it, multiple different ways. But I agree with you 100%. It's important that when you're going into the retake, you can't go half-heartedly, because as soon as that happens, that's how the T's win the round, especially on a bomb site like B dash, right? I mean, if there's one misstep, if there's a misspacing, then the T's will gobble those up and they'll be able to get the multi-frags and ultimately win out the rounds. Yeah.
And not only that, it's just like you lose 2 players in a situation you could have just committed to the save from the beginning. And then you've lost those extra guns. So there's a couple layers to it. Nice flash here from BND as they start to make their way up short. It is a full investment into the round out of Zion once again. Off the back of those 3 weapons they saved in the previous round, Fisher and Malkis have been left with a UMP and a Desert Eagle. So this could be the beginning of the end if Zion can't win this round, Nick. Then it's 13-7, Eco 14-7, and that's going to be a tough ask to make a comeback from that position. So WRG, they have the game in the cusp of their hand right now. What do they turn to try and get across the final line? PND probably a bit ahead of his teammates there towards B, maybe trying to make something happen. They're going to be wrapping in towards this B bomb site. It's going to be fairly one-dimensional as all 3 players are coming up through middle, through the window. Fisher finds the first kill, and he gets the second. Falls able to respond, but it's only going to be the 1 kill. And he has got CTs swarming around him right now. Nice first shot, though. Maybe going to be buying himself a bit of space. At least he could find a bomb plant here. But he wants to continue to try and force fights. He wants to try and wither down the opposition before he commits to the post plant. But I think a bomb plant here at the bare minimum is a good result. He has to try and force a fight here, and that's exactly what he's looking to do. If he just hangs around and waits, he's going to get wrapped on. Now he's looking to try and deal with the dark players as they come through. Oh my god, I couldn't even remember the position's name as they started to push forward. But points in case Zion get across the line in the all-important round.
Yeah, I think Zion played that pretty well, all things considered, not giving up their lives, not peeking on the tap, stuff like that. They just said, listen, you can plant the bomb. We're not worried about that. We speak about rounds. Yes, the bomb plant gives the T's an extra bit of money, but the round itself is priceless. So, I mean, Zion coming into this, they understood, you can plant the bomb all you want, Falls, but we're not going to give you the gunfights. And then as soon as he does plant the bomb, when he's trying to reposition, they're going to double push him and make sure the spacing's good, make sure the trading's good, and ultimately not allow Falls to get the 1v3, but all things considered, 2 people staying alive in the previous round. Me and Zion's money still on the edge, and the same can be said about WRG. So all things considered, this is a pretty important round for both these teams.
Yeah, absolutely is. one of those like it's often the age-older days. You're always like, yeah, this is a really important round. This is a really important round, but there really are a couple that are more important than the others, and this is one of them. What do WRG have in store? They've taken long control, so that's going to be really nice for them. They didn't have to use too much of their util in the process. They still have a hefty amount to work with going into the rest of this round. So options available, and it looks like Zion want to try and re-explore towards long off the back of that flashbang. It's going to be Lord who goes 1 for 1. I'm not a fan of that. I don't think that was necessary. Rather look to take short control at that point once you've given up long, and a 1-for-1 trade, as we always say, favors the T side. However, at least Zion, they do have players in position right now towards the safe side, but they're all stacked on top of each other, so they're forced to take the fight towards long. Good decision. They just committed to that from the get-go. Now it's Bam on the angle, but he misses that all-important shot, and he's going to get taken down by Zox. Now the tables are turning. P&D goes large with the double kill, and it's all completely unraveled for Zion. I thought they had a great decision there to commit to taking the long fight, but then they hang around in no man's land, and they start getting picked off. Falls finishes off the round, and that's 13-8. It's going to be WRG on the home straight.
Yeah, I mean, we were speaking about the importance of the round and the fact that Zion's money was on the brink of collapse. I mean, look, Bam on 1.4k, Fish on 1.5, Lord on 1.7. This is a sort of situation you can warrant the force buy because your teammates are double eco regardless, and that's exactly what they're going to choose to do so. They're forced back into this. Falls is taken a bit of a blow early in the round, but I mean, Zion, the utility's not looking great. Nothing's going to go your way this round unless you get an opening pick, and that's what Baart's trying to do towards middle. But he could be caught in no man's land. Destroy. T's got one.
Oh, man.
Baart ducking and weaving. Overzealous on the peak. Zox picked up one in the meantime. And now it looks like it's going to be 14-8. But I mean, Lord, he's got 2 frags. Bombs towards T spawn. Awesome.
Okay. The problem is, I mean, I still would have said it's round over if the bomb wasn't all the way back towards T-spawn. So what this means is Zion have a little bit of extra time to try and conjure something up. And not only that, but Lord's gotten in position here to shut down the bomb getting across. And you can see Zox has realized he has to aid his teammate here to make sure that he's going to have a safe passage into the site. And the timing might just be off here. And there we go. Awesome gets dropped. Zox left his teammate too soon. Now he's only got low HP to take this fight. He's going to go down to Lord as well. The round's completely unraveled. It's only P&D left. Holding the angle, he's waiting, but they know where he is. And now he has to clutch it out, and both the Zion players have doubled up on top of each other. He's been smoked off as well.
And there's another Molo.
And there's another Molo as well. On the ground somewhere, I take it?
Yeah, just in front of the smoke.
Okay.
Surely they saw that.
Yeah, I'm seeing it right now in free cam. But what a turn of events. I mean, it's Lord with the quad kill. Done so much damage in this round. Could even finish off with the ace. They've got the crossfire set up as well. Surely there's no world in which PND wins this. It seems like he's realized that both of them must be on the bomb right now. Coming around the corner, isolates Lord, but he's going to suffer the same fate as his 4 past fallen comrades. And that's 13-9 with a glimmer of hope. Zion keep themselves alive and kicking Nick. That should have been the moment that WRG shut them out of the server. But they couldn't get it done.
Lord turned up, bro. I mean, like, he had a relatively quiet game. I mean, even now, he's still negative, all things considered. He's 15 and 18, but those are 5 extremely pivotal frags, rather, in terms of how this map could fare out. Malky's just going to press the issue towards middle. He can get some opening frags in this eco of WRG. And Lord, the confidence is brimming. It's overflowing.
Yeah.
And this is Zion's passage back into this game.
His cup runneth over. And somebody's Steam balance is going to runneth over as well, as let's announce the winner of the giveaway. Someone's going to be taking home that juicy 250 rand Steam voucher. Let's see who it's going to be. I'll be your friend. At me on Twitter, at Haze Castings. Follow me, DM me. Buy me keys. I'll unlock a chest. We share the winnings of the knife. Done.
So kind of you.
Plan.
So kind of you.
Nopus GG. Okay. That's one of the more interesting names that we've had out of the giveaway, a giveaway winner so far. Hopefully he's still around here. But congratulations, lad. I hope that 250 rand that Steam voucher gets put to good use. And into the 24th we go. There we go. Good to see.
Oh my goodness. WRG, Zion Esports, both teams still. The money is on the brink. Steven Malkies is called 4 long, and what a call it is. 2 frags going to go the way of Zion. 4's going to get 1 in response. But a 4-man long take is going to yield so much results for the side of Zion Esports. 2 frags as well as the control of the map itself.
Yeah, big kills there. WRG have to reevaluate the situation now. It seems like they're going to try and split through middle on towards the B-bomb site. And that's a great shot onto Mulkeys. That opens things up drastically now towards the B-bomb site. It's isolated the lone defender, Fisher, who's decided to try and play behind the box here. Taking the angle towards tunnels. Going to be swinging wide. He catches Destroyed, but he does get traded out by Awesome. Now the tables have turned. It's WRG who find themselves in the favorable position. 2 versus 2. As they turn it into a post plant. Awesome, he also has a molly to work with. And Zox is all the way back on the platform here. Ducking behind the corner, waiting for information. As he peers his head up. Going to be spotting both of the players. He's waiting, biding his chance. Oh, and it's clean as you like. Absolutely surgical precision from the young gun. As he finishes off the round and closes things out. WRG. I think that's such an important round for them to win, just to make sure that they maintain that mental high ground, which they had before that little mishap in the previous round.
Yeah, without a doubt. And Zion, they're not going to be chuffed to play for overtime, so they're going to invest right back into this, which pretty much means it's all in on this round. Vaynant is going to push this mid smoke and try to push the issue towards Destroyed.
Oh my god.
And rip his head off and almost try to get the second one towards Awesome, but a really wild card play coming out from Vaynant is only going to go 1-for-1, and we all know what that means. It always favors the T side. A 3-man A setup means that if WRG choose to poke and prod their way into this B bomb site, they'll find good success, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Or they're going to cancel on it with that smoke.
Just so everybody knows, we're going to try and get an interview after this game, so make sure that you stick around and don't just immediately go as the game ends, because we always get some interesting insight from the players after we get to chat to them. So we're going to be trying to get one of the winners, whoever that may be, and it's looking increasingly likely to be one of the WRG individuals, as they've got a one-man advantage here. But not only that, they've got a massive weaponry and neutral advantage as well at their disposal. The world is their oyster right now, as they start to group up in the upper tunnels. It's just sort of P&D now who's going out on a bit of an excursion to take some heat off of that B bomb site, but that's still going to be the end result.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really go wrong if you WRG plant the seed of doubts into the minds of Zion, slowing down. P&D can go on a bit of an excursion mission towards middle as soon as the hit comes in. 2 players on this B bomb site though. They could allow for frag outs to happen. Fisher's going to get 1 full blind. Zox going to get the trade, but Mulkey's going to chime in. P&D is going to cut the map in half. The last player alive is going to be Mulkeys towards the car, stuck between a rock and a hard place. Nice. He's going to get his head ripped off by Falls, which means 15-10 is the scores and the doors, and the money from Zion is absolutely in the dumps.
Yeah, I mean, they did decide to force up in the previous rounds. This is a result of their own doing. But you respect it as well, because the previous time they did that, they actually won the round. Look at the kill distribution. It's actually super evenly distributed for Zion at the moment. Bar Bam, who's like slightly far behind the rest of the pack. But outside of that, 17 kills on 3 players and 15 on Fisher. So, I mean, very even between those 4 individuals. On the flip side, oh my god, Destroyed and Falls. They open things up and start to cement what seemed like the looming result here. Destroyed will get taken down, so it's going to be on his teammates' shoulders to convert this round. Zox, need to get your AK out, lad. Need to get your AK out. In fact, you don't, because your EGL has you covered. P&D secures the kill. Picks up his 25th. Lights out performance from himself and Destroyed. 48 kills between the two of them. And Zion have been eliminated at the hands of WRG here in the 3rd round of the lower bracket in EGL Season 2. Nick, you can't help but think how things might have been different if they were just able to get across the line on Nuke. I mean, can you imagine what the state would have been in the camp on the side of WRG if they'd lost that like 16-6, for example, coming into Dust 2?
I mean, like, it's all ifs and buts, and I think if Zion actually ended up winning out that map, it would have been a completely different story coming into Dust 2. Obviously, as you alluded to, there was at a stretch where there were 16 rounds in a row, I think you pointed out, maybe even 17, where it was round after round after round. And yes, it was spread over 2 maps, but the fact is that you're able to post that many rounds in a row where Zion feel like they're not going anywhere. They're not finding any success, not finding any sort of stranglehold on any sort of round. And the fact that you've lost so many of those in a row, even though it's over 2 maps, WRG had a really slow start on Nuke, but they ended up finishing it out. They had a really good start and a really good first half on Dust 2. And I mean, ultimately, they were able to win out both maps 16-14 and 16-10.
Enough of our insights, though. Let's get P&D here, the winning captain in IGL from WRG, into the conversation. welcome, Carlo. I mean, probably sitting here a bit earlier than what we might have thought at one stage, going all the way back to Nuke. You guys looked a little bit shook at one stage there. Let's talk about that first half. I mean, you guys picked the map, right? Coming off of yesterday, you lost it against them, but obviously now that you have your full strength roster, that wasn't a question to go back to your strengths.
We went over some stuff for Nuke today, and we thought we may as well just try some different stuff. We knew our
Okay.
CT side's really good, but we're still taking a lot of these games as pure practice, so it didn't really work out. But 4-11, I think it was. So we just
Yeah.
kept composed, kept calm. Like no one really thought it was over yet. So we knew we
Yeah.
had good comebacks yesterday without much. So
I mean, you've made a bit of a tendency of this as the IGL, is that like you've got like this coolest, calmest mentality out of anyone in South African Counter-Strike. And anytime I talk to you in an interview when you made a crazy comeback, you're like, yeah, everybody always still believed that we could make it happen. It wasn't anything special really. So I think that's an important mentality to have. But let's just talk about that T side, because you guys were constantly persisting with like the 4-1 split going outside. Was that just something that you had full faith in that was going to work? Was that a read you guys had made? Like, what was the school of thought behind just sort of constantly backing that strategy?
So I think a lot of the problems they weren't really adapting to that at all. It was more us just like messing up what we were supposed to do. Like there's just a few rounds where like an individual would mess something up, or we would take too long, or something like that cost us. We don't really have much on T side for Nuke at the moment, so
Okay.
we just kind of rely on that, and then we try and get it perfect. But yeah, I think that would still be the best option. Like looking back. I think if we were actually doing it the way we're supposed to, and like not letting like stupid things happen, then we would have had a lot more rounds on T side.
Yeah, without a
Okay.
doubt. I think Matt alluded to the 4-1 you guys were sort of leaning towards, and you started finding a lot more success towards the inner halls in Nuke, and you found that when they were lobby crunching, you'd still be able to get a frag and still drop down the vent. So is that some sort of adaptation you played to your own game in towards the inside on Nuke, where you realized your teammates were going down towards outside, but then you sort of started to get the number of like Lord of War and these players starting to push you inner, and you started to get these frags. Was that an adaptation you made halfway through the game?
It's more of a like realization that yesterday we weren't doing that at all. Like I was
Nice.
too worried about doing March's role for him because he wasn't there, that I wasn't doing my own role, which is also really important. So it's kind of one of those things that just happens when you're the lobby player. You need to show some presence door. You need to do some stuff. You need to know where you're taking fights. A lot of the time, yeah, guys will just jump into vent from there, and you'll be able to get behind them and kill them. So yeah, a bit of an adaptation, but also like just something that like someone has to do on Nuke, I think.
Yeah, I think it's such an important role, but you did it with the plum today. It was great to see. Let's shift across to the second half. So you guys are down 11-4 at halftime, but not only that, then they also like you guys trade a couple rounds back and forth, and it ends up 14-6 in their favor. Going into that next gun round, what's like the mentality? I know you already said that you guys would always back yourselves, but like, how do you guys deal with those sorts of situations when you're so far behind, but you still have to keep that faith and belief that you have what it takes to make the comeback?
Like it comes down to the individual, but things um, like getting angry at like what the enemy team's doing, stuff like that. Like you can't have that be happen the whole game, right? Because if everyone's tilted, like Malkies keeps like destroying me, like he's so stupid, whatever, like
Yeah,
that classic mentality that you hear. Like
yeah.
we don't do that at all anymore.
No
Like
bitching,
we
basically.
stop it. Yeah. Because I mean, like that's the only way you can like set their mentality. Even after like big rounds, like someone gets like a 3K, 4K or
Mm.
whatever. Like you keep it calm, just cool, well done, show us after the game kind of thing, and then go into the next round. Just stick to the plan, fix what's broken, and do it better next round.
I mean, you speak about these big rounds that your teammates are having, and I think Falls is probably one of the standout performers. Like, yes, destroyed. Obviously, like that was a sort of theme coming into this matchup. Like, you lost yesterday because you weren't playing with Destroyed, and you alluded to it, the fact that you were trying to do March's roles. But I want to look at Falls on Nuke, and he had an absolute blind on the CT side. He had a really rough time on T side, but it seemed like when he picked up the AWP and things were going, like we see you've dropped the AWP a lot and you've let it on Falls' hands. I'm sure you're pretty chuffed from the performance he had on the CT side, especially picking up that AWP.
Yeah, I have full confidence in Kurt, like just going ham with Orb. There's some, especially on the CT side, like I do kind of just tell him probably where the best place I want him to be is, just for what they were doing. Like they were doing a lot of outside heaven wraps and stuff like that. One round he did go ramp, and then like they ended up wrapping, and the round just fell apart. And after that, I'm just saying pretty much, dude, it's free. You can get so many kills out there, and then like he's pulling the trigger. So, but yeah, he's really impressing at the moment.
Yeah, I actually want to talk a little bit about the dynamic, but let's first finish off the map conversation because I have quite a cool question about the youngsters in the team. So you guys make the comeback in the end, this crazy comeback. You win 10 consecutive rounds in regulation, and you actually kind of low key. It's like you guys you shifted into gear. You made it look relatively easy in the end there on Nuke, winning those 10 rounds. What's the mentality of the team going into Dust 2 at that point after making that comeback?
Pretty much the same. Like every round's hard, every round's important. Just
giving it the same respect,
do
basically.
What we need to do. Yeah, like I think you can't at the moment, or you can't do it anymore where you're just like, lol, we're just gonna roll over these guys. Like everyone's got really good aim nowadays. They're playing a lot better Counter-Strike. Like guys are playing together. It's not like 2 or 3 years back where you see you playing a team that like Zion, I'll say it, and then you think you can roll them, but like we saw yesterday and today even, like I still think they played really well. It's scary, so you need to make sure that everything is perfect, especially the style we're playing, where we're trying to make sure everything's protocol and reaction based. And if one person's not doing their job properly, it does hinder that system. But when it works together really well, it works really, really, really well. So
I mean, you alluded to the protocols, and I wanna enlighten your performance that you had on Dust 2. Pretty much, you had probably I think you were on the top of the scoreboard coming to the end of that map, and you're speaking about the protocols. And the one round that jumped to mind was when they were mid being on you, and Zox rather drops the smoke towards doors, and you just get 4 frags, and the guy's running out windows. So obviously that's an example of the hard work you guys are putting in the protocols. I say hard work, it's just dropping a smoke, but it's the fact that the protocols are being put in place, and you guys are reaping the rewards of it.
Yeah, 100% taken straight from like reactions of pro players and pro teams in those same situations. You look, what do teams do against mid Bs? Like this looks like the most high percentage chance that we can have, and we take that, we put in our game plan.
Yeah, I mean your defense on the B bomb site was super solid tonight, right?
Yeah.
Or did we lose? Oh, okay, no, sorry. I thought for a second we lost you. But your defense stood really tall tonight on the B side, which was very impressive. I mean, on Dust 2, just across the board, you guys, even in that pistol round, that CT pistol round, what was the call there? Just to go back a couple of rounds, was that just like, let's just assert ourselves here? 3 up mid on the CT pistol?
March calls pistols nowadays. I don't
know. Okay. Okay,
March
so no wonder. Can I
just
just say no wonder every single one of your guys' T side pistol rounds is just like it's a rush somewhere. It's like flash over the top and rush in. Okay. Well, yeah. For anyone who's playing WLG in the future, if you don't know that by now, then you're not doing the correct research. But just one more question I had, Nick, before I give you the floor to finish up. What's the dynamic in the team a little bit in terms of how you've got quite a nice like variation at the moment in terms of there's a bit of experience with the likes of Destroyed and Awesome, of course outside of yourself at sort of like the puppet master I refer to you as in the casts, but then you've got these 2 young guns, Zox and of course Kurt Fall. So I mean, what sort of position do you put those youngsters in to try and take more pressure off their shoulders and then spread that out on the more experienced individuals so that they can thrive?
So I guess I would say besides myself, March and Destroyed and Zox have like the most like leadership role kind of thing. So normally I find myself on the edges of the map, or sometimes I'm with them, I'm doing the beginning round calls, but you still need someone in the pack and people on sites to also, take control of the game. So maps like Mirage, there's a lot of Zox just calling what needs to happen, or like everyone kind of needs to get to the point where they all understand the end goal, because the end goal needs to come as a result of what happened in the round. So getting them to just like, especially Ethan and Kurt, like to understand that when they're so young, I think will be so beneficial for them, because they'll start to improve that skill. And I think that's like the most important thing you can do in Counter-Strike is be a leader and a player at the same time. Like you can have a team full of 5 leaders because everyone can take the game into their own hands. So it's not really like we just send them out and go frag heads, because they do that anyways. Good players should be able to do that anyways. It's more just give them control, trust them with what they say. If Ethan says, guys, I think we should do a B split here or something, and it's like the wrong decision, loses us the round, then we know at least, okay, that happened.
Yeah.
Let's look at it. Let's change it.
No, just shout at Ethan and just complain that he's being an idiot. Standard Ethan things. No, I'm kidding. Last question from our side. You're coming up against, obviously, winning out against Zan. Your low bracket run's still alive, something you know all too well. Goliath and DNMK, you're going to face the loser of that game. So I just wanted to just pick your brain. What do you think is going to happen in that matchup?
I don't even know when we play. Is that next week?
Probably the week after, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, what do you think of the Goliath DNMK matchup?
Well, against each other or against us?
Put you on the spot, yeah. Well, against each other for starters, yeah.
I honestly, we haven't scrimmed them in ages. Like we've
load shedding things.
Load shedding straight from Shannon being away for ages. It's like it's so hard to tell.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's always close games between them. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Like I don't see a lot of teams scrimming at the moment.
Okay.
I don't know. It's probably going to be a 2-1 to someone.
Keeping his cards close to his chest, Nick. Maybe we'll have all three mapper. Last question, and then you can go, Mr. Carlo. I heard you say that the leadership group in the team is actually kind of yourself, Marsh, and actually surprisingly, I heard the name Zox. And now listen, I've played a couple of Among Us games with the lads, so I know he tends to be outspoken, which is always a good characteristic. But I'm glad that you're not sort of that type of team that's so going. You're less experienced than a younger lad, so that inadvertently means that you're not able to contribute. And something that during the cast I was talking about was the ZTR, the guy who's playing in NIP. He's even the 17-year-old who's IGLing on a couple of the maps. So, Zox is a part of your leadership group, and I think that's great. I mean, is that something that came about naturally, or how did that happen?
I think because he is entry pack, like you'd normally want like your Orpa to also start doing that, because they can control game. Like you see how slow he plays in ATK. I'm sure he has a lot of say of what he wants to do. Mistem's not just telling him you should go for door pick this round. Like that'll never happen. He can suggest it, but you want people to step up and do that. And as soon as I think it was even when Flex and Wipeout were in the team, we actually got Zox to stand in for Flexi, actually the one there. And I saw him already, like he wants to go and make plays on the CT side. He wants to start talking and stuff. And that's already like I mean, he's subbing for us. He doesn't know most of us, but he's still trying to take control there. So it happens naturally. And then, like, it's my job to kind of support that and be like, okay, here's a strength that you already have. You want to build upon that and make sure that, like, you just teach him how to learn.
Yeah. 100%, man. I think that's great. And I think that's a cool thing you just said. You teach him how to learn, because it's actually like it's an important thing important process to sort of come to grips with. But thank you for letting us chew your ear off, Carlo, and giving us some fantastic insights into your team. Congratulations on the win today. I'm sure you guys are feeling really good with the comeback. The 2-0 win, you guys march on in the lower bracket, and we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks' time.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Okay, cheers, PNG. And that is all that we have for you guys tonight. Did you notice that PNG, by the way, Nick? That's my new nickname for him. PN Gangster. I actually think it's going to be coming off quite nicely. I might even TM copyright that one. But Nick, that's all we have for the good people tonight. Always nice to chat to someone and get some insights, right?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing, the best content on YouTube has to be like the behind the scenes sort of a look in on CS teams. I think when players are keen to do interviews after games, that's always a really sick insights where all of us are looking from this outside point of view, the casters, the viewers, the production team, etc.
Yeah.
When you can sort of have an insight into the comms, into the team, into the leadership roles in this example, then I think it's super interesting, and you have a lot more respect for the players who maybe when you see a player who's maybe like having a real rough time, you think, okay, well, he actually has a lot more impact than just, as Carlos said, just running around clicking heads. They have a lot more to say, a lot more impact that they have off the scoreboard, and I think it's super interesting that we have that sort of insights.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. Like you were saying, us casters, analysts, viewers, we all have outside perspectives. Nobody actually knows exactly what's going in that 5-man team. Maybe there's the coach in some teams as well. no one actually knows exactly what's being communicated within that team in that exact situation. So we're always taking guesses, calculated, sort of going off calculations and what we can try and figure out. So yeah, couldn't agree with you more. Always great to chat to people and get that inside information. But that's all we have tonight, guys. That was an absolute banging game. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be back on Thursday with another banger. Of course, a lower bracket matchup once again. It's going to be Big 5 versus Akasi. Loser goes home. Winner plays against Sinister 5 in the round 4 of the lower bracket. So absolutely everything to play for both of those teams. But as I said, that's going to be all for tonight. So thank you so much for joining us, guys. Make sure to follow Evesports on social media as well as myself and Mr. Nick. And we'll be seeing you on Thursday. Have a fantastic rest of your night. Keep safe, keep well. All the love in the world. See you soon.